All right. We are live. Even my
Yes,
phone
we
says
are.
we're live.
My
So,
computer says we're still waiting.
it does it? Well, your computer is well, it's a little slow.
Oh, you're about to get canceled.
Yeah, I am. We that's your growing up in the 90s there.
Yeah, I used to love saying that word.
I know. But it didn't, you see, when I remember using it, it didn't carry that connotation that it does today. It was,
I
you know,
didn't think about it until people told me about it. I
yeah,
didn't
so
like
pointed it
it was
out and said,
like when I said it, I meant it as somebody was being stupid. I didn't
yeah,
mean that they was being mentally retarded.
yeah,
Like I wasn't making fun of, people with mental handicaps. I wasn't.
yeah,
It,
but
somebody had to commit, but that's what most things, people have to, after they tell you, then you're like, oh, I guess I am okay, I'm terrible. I was
Yeah.
fine until you told me I was terrible.
Yep.
Thanks a lot,
Well,
buddy.
let me take a minute to acknowledge those that are joining us tonight. Starting off with Empire of Dirt Aquatics. Jeff Kane, thank you for being in here. Why are we always yelling? Sam, thanks for joining us. The Aquatic News Network. Tommy. Uh, Collaboration of Curiosities. Adele, thank you for coming in. Uncle Smiley Aquariums. Hey, Smiley, thanks for joining us. Lisa Worth. I mean, Lisa. Where did I get that from? Linda Worth. Thank you for joining us. Adelina. Got kicked off of TikTok Live. Oh, for that word? Yeah, I know. I know. I'm probably gonna get canceled too, but you know,
You should kick
Audra,
yourself up.
yeah, Audra Myers, thank you for joining us. And I guess people gradually start coming in here. Unfortunately, there's like, I looked on the calendar and there wasn't supposed to be anybody going live at this moment, but I just got the notification that I guess Steam Thoughts going, and Fish Fam Link is also doing like a giveaway. So,
I'm
it is
surprised
what it is.
people, when I hear people say, I looked on the calendar and so and so's, this spot was open or that spot's taken, I get a kick out of that. I ain't gonna lie to you. I
Yeah.
don't. I mean, I'm not saying like be a hole, but at the same time, like, are we still doing that? Like, I don't know. I still get a kick out of that because
Hey,
you know, there's,
is it just my end or is your audio cutting in and out?
I don't know. I can hear you just fine. Let me make sure everything's plugged in tight.
Yeah, yeah, let me double check. But yeah, no, I get it. I mean, for the most part, I because of my weird schedule, I go when I can go. It's all okay. It all sounds fine. Thank you. Thanks for the
I,
audio check.
I
It's got to
and
be
I
on my
think,
end.
yeah, I don't think, that whole, oh, so and so's going live. Now, if you're purposely going live just to step on somebody purposely, okay, you might be a
Yeah.
prick. But if you going live because you feel like going live and somebody else is going live because they felt like they was going live, whatever, man. If everybody actually felt like they wanted to divvy up the time, people would get like 1 second slots.
Yeah.
There's only but so much time in a day. So let the people go live, let the people figure it out. Dude, honestly, let's be real. If that was the case, I've had every slot at some point in time. So I have dibs on any slot I want? Is that the case? Like, no. That'd be ridiculous for me to say. You know?
Yeah, no, if I tried to find an hour where, because then it also just kind of like for the people that want to watch the live stream, they're not having a split between one or the other, and doing stuff like that. Although I've done that multiple times where I'm watching two or three lives at once while, trying to listening to here and there. And a lot of the times it'll be the subject that'll keep me at a certain live. If it's something that's really interesting to me, then that's what
Mhm.
I choose to watch at that moment. And then I'll go watch the replay of the other ones. Um,
Exactly.
so for me, it's always been, I've always done my lives in the style of, well, people, I do them. That's why I don't have a consistent time, because I figured if people really want to watch them, they can watch them in the replay. And if they
Yeah.
don't, they find that it's something they don't want to watch, then they didn't miss out on anything. So, but with that being said, I guess we've kind of dragged this out a little bit. And why don't we tell them why we're here today?
Oh, look, this is why we're here. This is why we're here. I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna read the text. I love this text. So the text says to me, because y'all remember me and Mexicali would go live every once in a while. We would talk, and then something would hit us. Be like, hey, we should talk about this. And this is what the text said. Here it is. Here it is. Here we go. Hey, we haven't done a live together here. We haven't done a live together. Here's probably a good topics. Is being attractive on YouTube a pro or con? Do you lose credibility because of your gender? Is your age also an issue when it comes to credibility? To which I said, all of them. Every one of those topics. Let's talk about them all.
So, and the reason that came about is because it seems like it's interesting, because the longer you participate in the cram hobby, or even in YouTube in general, these topics seem to come in like in cycles. And it's interesting because not too long ago, I saw a video that was done by freshwater ichthyology Rebecca. And it was kind of sad that she had to do a video like that because of the way she felt. And a lot of it was, here's a person that's obviously going to school, who's trying to study ichthyology, and and she feels that she's held to a different standard. That's why the title of the live for today is, there a double standard in the fish hobby? And unfortunately there is.
I'm gonna
What's
have
that?
to watch that video. So
Yeah.
she feels like, and what was the premise of the video? Like,
Well, the thing is that she feels that she could be in a room full of equals,
mm-hmm.
but and if given the person a person with a question wanting to ask something, they will always defer to the male.
Like Jake
Because
from State Farm.
yeah,
Yeah, I love that
they
commercial. Yeah.
it's one of those things where they're all equals, and we could all be equal in knowledge, and people, or I don't know, I guess it's more noticeable in this hobby because it's heavy, predominantly male hobby
Sausage
for the
party.
most part, or at
So,
least the most outspoken or the most presence in YouTube are
mhm.
more of male figures, right?
I
So
would definitely say yeah.
so her argument was, why is it always then if you're sitting with somebody that with equal knowledge, why does society automatically gravitates towards the guys? That's what the argument that she was trying to make. And I thought that was
Well,
very interesting, because that's not a perspective that most of us males are really aware of. And then
well,
I had to reflect on myself, like if I go to PetSmart or a fish store in general, it doesn't matter which fish store. I had to think about it. Do I automatically start looking for the guy in the store, or do I approach the first person that I see? And I had to think about it for a while, and it's like, well, I don't think I'm at I think I've gotten out of that stage myself, that I'd rather just get, the first person that I see, I'll ask them, because I think a lot of it also is, since I have a basic knowledge of the information that I'm seeking, I think by the first response that person gives me, I will know, yeah, this is the person I want to deal with, or is like, they don't know much, so they're not going to help me solve my problem.
yeah.
Um, but I think that has happened now that I'm older. When I was younger, definitely I would have gone straight to the guy. That I have no questions about it. I would have gone, no, he can help me. you know.
Really.
But then again, I don't know if that's just a situation of me maturing and understanding that information equal across the board, or it's me becoming more conscious of the fact that I was doing that. So I have averted doing that. I don't know. I wish I really knew the answer to that. I just know, and today, if I go in somewhere, I don't have a problem with talking to anybody. I actually want to talk to the first person that will actually help me out. So
That's I and I'm not trying to, because as you're talking, I'm thinking about myself, how I answer that, and I'm thinking to myself, damn, I kind of sound like I sound like I'm tooting my own horn, but I'm not. I actually don't do that, and I'm not saying that to pander to females or like I'm a better male than anybody else. I'm not saying that. I've had a lot of strong. I've never had a strong male figure in my life. I've had a lot of
mm,
strong female figures in my life. So me going to a female in that aptitude isn't a thing for me. So I don't have that. I've never had a strong male figure in my life. I I I never have. I kind of raised myself as far as that goes. Um, I never did have a male. That's how come I'm so hard on myself, is because I relied on myself. I don't know if y'all figured that out. I am real self conscious of what I say, who and what I do. My self respect, because there has never been a male for me to go, oh, look up to. So I don't see anybody as, I don't look to males as being better or worse than females. Now I have had a lot of females in my life that have been very, very. My mom, super super strong female. When I was in school, having teachers that were predominantly all females, I needed a lot of help in school because of my learning disabilities, and they were all willingly, you know, helping me, like going above and beyond to help me. So I don't really have that issue. Not that it's a issue, it's just I don't have that inclination, you
it's
know.
interesting that you say that because when you were talking about school having
Yeah.
predominantly females, that wasn't the case for me. It was kind of weird because I'm trying to mentally go through all my teachers. I know my kindergarten teacher was a female, Mrs. Quinn, who I was in love with. That's what my mom keeps telling me. That's why I would never want to miss school because she was a very young teacher too, though. But um, I remember her. I still remember her name, obviously. And then my second grade teacher. No, that was kindergarten. First grade. I don't remember my first grade, second, third, third. Don't remember. Fourth, I do. Fourth was Mr. Welcome. And
His
then
name was
for
Mr. Welcome.
yeah, Mr. Welcome.
Thank you.
That's
Welcome.
in fourth grade is I think where the whole me going by George became a thing because that was in the classroom. It was in Mr. Welcome's classroom. I had started the semester. I was the only Jorge in class, so that was okay. But by fourth grade, I spoke English pretty fluently, and it was quickly becoming my first language instead of being my second language. And I remember like halfway through the first semester, or right around Christmas time, we had a new kid come in, and his name was Jorge Garcia. So at first, he would always, say, yes, Jorge, when we were raise our hands, and I automatically would go to answer, and he was actually asking the other Jorge. So it started getting a little bit confusing. And one day he decided, because I spoke English, understood English a lot better, he said, well, I'm going to call you George if that's okay with you. And I was like,
Mhm.
sure, I don't care. And, that's where it stuck. And then from that point on until maybe about a few years after after you had to change your license to your actual birth certificate name, that's where that became an issue, and I had to go back and go back to being Jorge. But you go through a period of my life, probably from elementary until I graduated from university, that most of my classmates are going to know me as George. They're not going to know me as Jorge. Although living on the border, that's interchangeable. It's like Jose and John. It's the same thing. Or Joe. No, not Jose and John. That's Juan and John is the same. Joe and Jose is the same. It's just the
Yeah.
English version of the other one or not.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but that was kind of the situation. And then in fifth grade, okay. Oh no, third. No, yeah, fifth grade was Mrs. Johnson. sixth grade was Mr. Lobo, and then who did I have for seventh?
Mr.
Seventh.
Wolf.
Yeah, Mr. Lobo, and he was from Pacoima. I remember that because he was a old cholo from Pacoima. He would always tell us stories about when he was running the streets with his lowriders. But that was him. And then for seventh grade, after seventh grade, it all changed because we would do the switching of classes. So if your English teacher was a different one, you didn't stay in the same classroom. You rotated classrooms, and the teacher stayed in the classroom. So that's where it kind of became more like high school, where you're always revolving classrooms. At least that's the way it's in California. I don't know if the rest of the schools are like that, but at that point, it just didn't really, there. I guess it was a little bit more balanced, but I still remember most of my teachers being, Mr.
Males?
Osa. Yeah,
See,
Mr. Osa.
most of mine were females, and they've helped me so much because of my learning disabilities that, like I said, the whole idea of going to a female for help probably is not an issue for me. Another thing that I was thinking about is I've noticed, and maybe it's because women they have that. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, women, you know what I mean? I'm just talking, with my man brain. So, but I kind of, no, I mean, seriously, like I could never put myself, I could kind of, like a woman could tell me what she's feeling and I could try my best to understand, but I'll never know what a woman goes through. You know what I mean? You can explain to me and I could try to put myself in your position, but the truth is I will never freaking know. So I assume women have had this stigmatism for so long, this stigma for so long, that they're afraid to open up their mouths. And I know this because I've seen smart women not want to speak up in fear of looking stupid around men. So a lot of times women will just stay shut mouthed and let men just talk and talk and talk and talk while I'm looking at women that I know the answer, but they just kind of sit there back and just kind of like, I'm just going to be quiet in case I'm wrong because I don't want to be, no, you're a dumb little girl, da, 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 da. So I don't think women speak up as much as they should. Because you got that prick dude, and the sad part is, here's the sad part. I never experienced that male chauvinistic. Women be like, oh, toxic male. I never experienced that till I came to Florida. I thought that whole toxic male thing that women always talked about was BS. I was like, I don't know what the hell you talking about, lady. That's made up. That's just fake. I came to Florida, and I'm gonna be real with you. I sat back and I listened to some of the things that these guys were saying, and I was like, oh, you're who they're talking about. I was with this one guy I worked with. His name was Jay. And I remember this. She was the GM's. She was a GC, the general contractor's assistant. We were subcontractors. We worked for the general contractor. She was his assistant. She was young. She was working for the general contractor. She came in and, per the general contractor, said that this and this had to be done. Well, Jay, the older Southern dude, had a problem with this young teenage. Oh, she wasn't a teenager, but she was in her young 20s, mid 20s, and he's like, "Listen here, little lady," and I'm like, "Oh my God! Like you really have a problem with a young woman telling you what to do?" And she stood her ground, and he was furious. So I could see where women kind of have a problem with opening up because they do have these guys are still out there. They haven't died off. They haven't. It was funny. It was like I was like, oh, I've experienced this since I came to Florida. I've watched husbands degrade their women. Now coming from a Latino family where we have, there's machoism in our culture. It's true. I'd be the first one to admit it. But I've also seen Latino women take about as much as they can take and then black out on their men, like violently. My mom was one of them. She used to attack my dad on a regular basis. Um, she was little, but I've seen really really terrible ways that women get talked down to and put down. So I feel like women are afraid to open up their mouths because they still got these overbearing men kind of like pushing them down emotionally and mentally. So they don't open up as much as they should. Like Rebecca probably, is feeling that,
Yeah.
or unfortunately, it does suck. It does suck. You know, it sucks, but there is a double standard. There is.
Yeah, well, obviously there's a double standard because the
Mm,
other thing where this kind of relates to, and it's something that we've been talking about lately, and I'm going to be honest, I was one of those that kind of went on the assumption of assuming. I assumed. And I know you try to convince me otherwise, and I wasn't budging. I kept saying, no, this is what it is. And what we're talking about is this new channel that's out there called Florina.
I wish I could change that girl's name. I heard okay. So her channel name
Is
is like
Fishy Oasis,
Fishy
right?
Oasis, but she has it written down as Florina Fish Keeping or Florina Cichlids. But it's she's got like three different names to it. I
Yeah.
I wish she would fix that because it's very confusing.
Here's where I made the assumption and made the misinformed assumption is because the very first video that she posted, because she I went back and I looked, I said, okay, I need to figure this out. I need to figure out where my prejudice is embedded because it's not obviously it wasn't something that was healthy. But she has a channel that was dedicated to the fitness channel and has over 400,000 subscribers. So, and I went and what I really found impressive is how much she has worked. And what I mean by that, you look in there and you scroll, she's got so many videos and they go back like 10 years. So this is somebody who's been diligently been working on her YouTube channel and obviously when she gets into a subject matter that she really enjoys, she's very dedicated to it. Well, her very first video that she did, because as you come up to her more recent videos, she started incorporating some of her other hobbies, and fish keeping being one of them. But me being the idiot that I am, when I immediately saw the video and I clicked on her channel, the rest of the videos were obviously fitness related. And anybody that's watched the fitness related, you're going to see images and bathing suits, underwear, all this other stuff. So this is where my prejudice mind went is like, oh, this is another OnlyFans girl that's trying to garner attention and trying to increase whatever else she's doing. And I never gave her an opportunity. I just by looking at the thumbnail and looking at the channel, I automatically made that assumption. It wasn't I was aware of it, but I was like, I'm not interested in this and didn't even bother looking at the video. I know you had watched it and you had reached out to me and she goes, dude, you need to check out this video. It's so interesting because, the conversations that you and I will have. And my first words out of my mind, I was like, oh no, dude, that's just another OnlyFans girl that's trying to, and you were like, no, dude, you need to watch the videos. You need to listen to what she's saying. That's what you told me. And it's her husband recording the videos, her kids are involved. And I said, okay, well, if kids are involved, husband's part of this. Okay, let me drop my prejudice and go watch this. And there are some things where there's a transition that is going on, and I've started noticing it now. But because the reason why I keep bringing up her previous channel is because it's a fitness channel. When you do content for fitness, the camera angles, the positioning of what you're trying to capture is very different because in those type of channels, what happened? Oh,
Any fish will do. On
thank
behalf
you, man.
of
No
Mexicali,
cigar.
thank you.
Thank you so much.
He was
But
gonna keep on going because he don't look at the chat.
yeah, I'm sorry. I apologize for that, but thank you. I appreciate that so much. And yeah, that'll definitely be put to a good use to a cigar. Actually, only reason I don't have a cigar is because I have two cigar shops that I go to. I have the lounge that I'll usually post about and stuff like that. But there's one here right next to the Walmart that I go to that was like a smoke shop, and they carry cigars, but it's not really a cigar shop. Well, I went today, and I guess it went out of business, and I didn't feel like driving all the way into town to go pick up a cigar, so I was like,
You
oh
you
man, I
won't
was
spend
bummed out.
enough money. You won't spend enough money there.
Where? Oh yeah, that one. Yeah. Well, it was
It's
always
your
my
fault.
get me out of a jam
Yeah.
cigar shop,
See.
because the lounge is where I like to go lounge,
Hmm.
you set up,
Yeah.
it's just, but anyways, going back to what I was talking about before
Yeah.
um so I go, all right, I'm gonna go watch this. Well, obviously the takes, if you're used to doing some sort of content, it takes you a while to break away from that habit. And I remember
Mhm.
I called back
Yeah.
Jay, and I said, man, dude, it's exactly all you see is her back end, and the guy's focused on this, and you're like, no, dude, pay attention, get past that. You'll see, listen to what she's saying. So reluctantly, I went back and I said, all right, I'll watch the second video that she put out. And sure enough, once I started getting away from my prejudice,
Male.
yeah,
Your
my
your
prejudice of,
caveman. Yeah. Your
yeah,
caveman side.
I started listening to that, and immediately I called Jason up. You know what? You're right. And she made a couple of comments that immediately made me go, "Oh, she definitely knows what the hell she's talking about, because these are not beginner uh beginner questions
Yeah.
or themes that you talk about." And I
Yeah.
said, "Yeah, I get it. She's building a channel." And this is when I went back and rewatched and caught it, that she said she's getting back into the hobby after being away for it for a long
Mhm.
time. And so the videos that she's doing now is basically relearning everything that she knew in the past, but she's doing it from a beginner's perspective,
Yeah.
which that is really interesting. Now, um, so I started watching. I said, okay, and eventually, once I got past that, I was able to watch a couple more of the videos. What I found interesting, and what I told Jason today, is I watched the video she dropped, because she's dropping like 2 or 3 videos a day.
Yeah. She's
But
going. She's going
yeah,
hard.
she's going ham on that. But I saw the first video for today, and I told Jason, you know what? I think either somebody is that has her what do I want to say? Has confidence with her as far as like being able to talk to her as a friend. Might have either heard the comments that you and I have made, because we went at it in your live stream too one of these days. And I was like, nah, dude. And we went back and forth. And I guess somehow, and it might not, I'm not saying it's just us, but maybe she's heard repetitive comments, because it really changed. I noticed the way the video was recorded was a lot more conscious as to what she was doing, and focusing more on the items. Uh, and then I know you kept arguing about that. Why does she need to change the way her appearance is? And I was like, well, because it sends the wrong message. I don't know. I'm not saying that she listened to our conversation, but obviously somebody
She did.
must have had some input that it kind of seemed like it got addressed. Let's guess some sort of the long of it, the short of it is, I think it got addressed. Yeah, go ahead.
So just to let you know, I did comment on one of her videos and said you were a huge topic in one of my live streams. Um, just to let you know, I think you're doing a great job. Da 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 da. So she went to the live stream. She watched it. She left a comment saying, "Yeah, I saw the live stream, and in doing her other content, she's kind of used to those comments before, but she really wants to, do a good fish channel, whatever, whatever." So she did watch the live stream. So everything that was said on that live stream, she was aware of. Um, I don't want to take credit for anything. I don't want us to take credit. I don't.
No.
Um, I Norfolk Southern vlog. But I will say this. I will say this.
Well, I guess what I'm
Yeah, go
getting
ahead.
at is that
Go ahead.
it sucks that, even though I thought I was past that that prejudice or whatever it was, I just realized that I wasn't, and I had to go back and now looking back on the comments that I made
Yeah.
and reacting the way that I did, it doesn't settle well with me. So it's kind of like, here
Well,
I'm thinking that I've made this big evolution in my way of interacting with humanity, and come to find out I haven't really veered too far from that path. I'm still, you know, carrying these things, whether it's consciously or unconsciously. It's like, all right, why am I doing this? Why? And I don't know if it's just because I'm falling into the bait of other channels where it's blatantly that, and because there's plenty of those channels where it's just more like, I don't know, you want to call it catfishing, but it's not really they're using the aquarium hobby as a way to attract an audience, but they're not really doing anything that's, aquarium pertinent, I
yeah.
guess.
Well, and I got to be honest with you. When I saw the thumbnail, that was my first thought. I was like, "Oh my god, here we go. Let's see how she's gonna try and catfish." And I was like, "Oh, well, I was wrong." You know what I mean? I've never. Again, and I'll explain this in a future. I just don't think it's. I'm not ready to talk about certain things, but uh, her looks was like, okay, you know what I mean. So yeah, it was easy for me to put that aside, is what I'm getting at. You know what I'm saying? I am a heterosexual male, but looks never was kind of. I never was that guy to kind of be like that. It was easy for me to put that aside, and I was looking at, okay, the video and what she was saying, and looking at, okay, if you're going to talk about something, I want to see that in the shot, which it
Well,
always was in the shot.
yeah.
um as
Yeah,
far as,
and I guess as far as that comment that I made you, whether if
yeah,
necessarily being an attractive person is a pro or con when it comes to YouTube. The
it
reason
is,
I made the reason I
yeah.
made that comment is like, is this a con because the girl is an attractive girl that I assumed that she didn't know what the hell she was talking about? It That's where I
Yeah,
have to stop it and reflect on that and go, fuck, yeah, I am guilty of that. That's exactly what I did.
that was
I
my initial
assumed
thought.
that I had made that assumption, and now I'm having to eat that assumption
Well,
because that's not the case.
and I would be lying to you if, when I saw the thumbnail, I was like, here's another, she ain't know what I'm talking about, she's just trying to. So my initial thoughts were all the same until I started watching it, and I was like, oh, okay, it quickly went away. I didn't hold on to it. But yeah, my initial thought, we're all human, you know what I mean? We all have these biases. My initial thought was the same.
But the
uh,
one thing that I find interesting though, because and here's the thing though, and I don't know if this is necessarily a gender thing or not, because I find it that, I guess if we're talking about appearances, right?
uh,
As males, sometimes we assume because somebody is attractive that they might not be as smart. But I sometimes see the opposite with women, where they'll get hate from women just because they're attractive.
100%.
And it's like, that
Well,
is the
not 100%.
craziest thing. No, not 100%,
Not
but it's
100%. You're
unfortunate
right.
that you see that happen a lot of times. And it's like, wow. So you would think that somebody that's an attractive person would have it made, but they're having to deal, you know, with two different situations at a
Well,
time.
you'll hear a lot of attractive women say they get along better with men because of that. Because of that right there. I like being around guys because, they get a lot of heat from women. But if we're just talking about looks in the fish keeping hobby, um, we assume that the unattractive woman was spending all her time with her face in the books or at home alone with the aquarium. You know what I mean? That we assume that because they won't do it. They won't going out. You know what I mean? They won't running around with the fellas. Attractive people can be ugly on the inside, and in a lot of
Yeah,
cases that is true. A lot of
yeah.
cases that is true. Except for me, I'm beautiful inside and out, Audra. You know that, right, Audra?
Well, Well, but in this case, we're not necessarily talking necessarily about personalities,
Yeah,
because that's a
yeah,
whole different
yeah,
thing. I think it's
yeah,
more of what our innate being, I guess,
yeah, yeah,
reacts
yeah.
to
We automatically
that situation. And yeah,
100%.
but nasty people are ugly, or ugly persons.
Hmm.
Doesn't matter. I mean, you're ugly if you that's your type of aura that you are.
Yeah.
It's just you can have it. It's not necessarily one specific type of a person.
So here's the question: if you was a woman, would you use your body to all right, so if you was a woman who knew about fish keeping, would you have a problem with dressing a certain way?
I
Knowing, okay, okay, but here's the thing. Now, you was a legit fish keeper with legit knowledge. Would you be okay with having a low V cut shirt, some tight, pants on and stuff, belly shirt and whatnot? You know what I mean? Because if anybody pressed you on questions, you could be like, boom, boom, boom. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? I would.
yeah.
I ain't gonna lie.
I think I think the problem is that, like I said, the mistake that I made with this channel was assuming, like everything else that I've seen that's out there right now, where the aquariums are just the background as to what they're really trying to do. And I got so jaded that I automatically assumed that that was the same case. Yeah, go ahead.
All right, Stella D. Oh, I wish to God that we could have a woman come up here and talk about this. And I'm gonna
Does
be
she
honest
want to
with
come
you,
up?
it's been tried. We've tried to have women have this conversation, and nobody ever does want to have this conversation. Since I've been doing YouTube, a very select, very small amount of women would want to have this conversation. I don't, I'm not trying to mansplain. I'm all for but like I said at the beginning before you got here, I can't put myself in your shoes. I will never
Yeah,
know what it's like to be a woman. So
and
I
I don't
only could
think.
go, I'm
Sorry.
trying. We're trying here. We're trying.
Yeah, well, I don't think we're trying to explain the woman's perspective either.
True.
I think what I'm focusing on is I'm trying to tell you what I did mentally,
Yeah.
and the thinking behind what I was doing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
at no moment am I trying to say this is the way women should deal with. I'm telling you, my problem was that I went under an assumption that it was inaccurate. And
And I'm
so
and I'm saying that if I had it, I would flown it. That's what I'm
see,
saying.
I don't know. I can't say. Imagine if I was a woman and I looked like this, I probably wouldn't
Oh no,
be doing that either.
you'd owe people subs. Like you would be negative subs. You'd be a bald, hairy woman.
Yep, a bald bearded woman.
Yeah, nobody wants that. Well, you can actually make some money on a sideshow.
Yeah,
They used
circus
to
freak.
people used to pay good money for that. People used to pay good money for
I
that.
don't know about the
So okay, let's go ahead and be a little bit more realistic. Let's say you was buff, like you know what I mean, Vin Diesel, Channing Tatum, you know what I'm saying? Would you be with the
but
tight shirts and you know
here's
what I'm
the thing
saying?
though. Here's the thing though, because I think this is where it's really gonna you know depend on what the situation is. Like I've always told you, and I know that my response always frustrates the hell out of you. But my idea has never really been to grow to be like a million subscriber channel. That's has never been my ambition. I think if with time and work, and if it gets there, great, but it's not a goal that I have. Like when what I found really interesting with you is you remember you telling me that you don't celebrate milestones because you never want to have an
Yeah, I
end to
don't
that
want.
milestone.
Yeah,
And and I don't necessarily is that I celebrate, but I feel an accomplishment when I do hit one. But I don't think anything less or anything more if I hit it or I don't hit it.
Yeah.
And so if that was, even if I look like that, like a physical specimen, right?
Like
If
Jason
the
Momoa.
Yeah, or whatever, any attractive guy that you want to throw out there.
Like
Uh
me.
like Aqua Funk,
Yeah, yeah,
Uh
yeah.
I, and if I still felt the same way that I do right now, I don't think I would do anything different. Now, if my objective was to become as popular and famous as possible, then obviously you're gonna push towards that, and you're gonna
Yeah.
use whatever means. At least this is me. I'm not talking about anybody else. If that was of course I would use all the resources available to me to benefit
Yeah.
me to achieve that goal.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I
I would too. I ain't gonna lie. I would too. In fact, I shave before I do a video on purpose so I can look my best.
Yeah, I shape too.
Yeah. You know, a lot of people be like
Well,
we had that live stream and a bald man literally chastised me for being bald. That was ridiculous. But I
you know,
the
you know what
reason
the crazy part is
well,
that I usually will go take a shower before a live stream, and I'll
I
put
do
on
too.
my cologne and everything.
I I
Like,
took a shower, yeah.
and it's
I,
and it's like my wife sometimes kind of looks at me and she goes, "Why are you wearing cologne? Nobody's gonna smell you." I don't
yeah.
know. It's just in the
Because you want to
nature. That's
feel good. You want to be
Yes.
your best. You want to bring your best when you're putting yourself out there.
Yep.
You know, I want to be awake. I want to be alert and taking a shower, being clean, kind of,
And it's true. I'll go look, and I want to make sure that my
yeah,
appearance, even though I have a beard, I don't want it to look like it's like a wild man's beard. I'll
yeah.
make sure that it looks
So,
presentable, what I would consider presentable, obviously, right? Because somebody's probably looking at it
yeah,
and go, that looks. But at least I worry about. Yeah, you're right. I do worry about presenting the best me possible.
yeah. So I wear a hat, and I don't wear a hat because I'm ashamed of not. I can actually grow hair, but I don't like that in between having hair and not having
Yeah.
hair. It drives me nuts. And because I grow hair fast, I'm like, no, and I'm constantly having to shave my head. So I just wear a hat most of the time because of that. I don't like that. Now, when I have a freshly shaved head, I don't wear a hat, which isn't that often. You'll know because the light will gleam off of it, and I actually like it when people notice it. They're like, look at the light shining off my head, and y'all think y'all making fun of me, but I kind of like it. But
Yeah,
I
that's
always,
the thing though, because if I could grow, my problem is you can probably see it here. I don't grow any hair in here, and I do a little bit, but it's all thinned out. So the minute it starts getting noticeable, it looks really bad. So that's why I just keep it so short, as short as I can keep it, without actually taking a razor to it. Um, and that's why when you see me with a hat is because I've been lazy and I haven't gone to cut my hair, and not gone to cut it. I cut my own hair, so because I'm not
yeah, me
paying
too.
$20 for a buzz cut.
Yeah.
I was doing that in the military, so I was doing my own hair then.
So
No
any
different now.
fish would do says hot pink lipstick views would go through. Hot pink lipstick? That's what it'll take? You think so? I put on makeup before when I was in drama club. I had to put on, well, I didn't put on lipstick when I was in drama club. I had people put on lipstick for me because I didn't know I was terrible at putting on makeup. But yeah, I wore makeup before.
No, you just wanted the pretty girls to be touching you. That's all.
I truly did. Let me tell y'all something. For anybody in any of y'all boys in high school, join the drama club. Because let me tell you something about drama club girls. They're very open. In the green room, in the dressing room, they walk around with their shirts off. Just bras. Let me tell you something, brother. So if you go, I don't know how to put makeup on, they'll sit you down and stand right in front of you, two of them at a time, and stand there in their bras, putting their makeup on you. And I just sat there and enjoyed the view. Do it.
Well,
Drama club, baby.
so I think we beat the first one to death. Now let's
Yeah.
go on to the second one, which is gender an issue? Being does gender affect your ability to grow on YouTube.
I
And
totally believe that.
now
I do.
here's the thing.
I,
This is where the double standard is, because
yeah.
does it work the same for all women, or is there a standard there?
Okay. So I'm gonna go at it in a very practical sense. I'm not gonna talk about what the girl looks like, whether she's attractive or whether she's not attractive. I'm gonna go as to what me and you were talking about just a little while ago, preparing to do a video. We shave, we'll cut our hair, we'll take a shower. How
Yeah,
long does that take to do a video? To get ready to do a video? Not long at all.
about 10 minutes.
Now, there are times where that 10 minutes makes me not want to do a video. Just 10 minutes, I would like, yeah, I'm going to do a video. Let me go ahead and shave. By the time I get done, I'm like, I don't want to do that damn video. I'll do it tomorrow. I don't know what I would do if I had to take the time to do my hair, do my makeup. I can put on a shirt and just do a video. Sometimes women feel the need to find a nicer shirt to do a video.
Well, I think
So I don't.
a lot of it is that, because
It is a
it's,
social thing.
it's a society that has imposed a certain standard.
I agree.
There
I
has to
agree.
be an appearance to be upheld. And I think, like, I know you've alluded to this before, where
Mhm.
your theory on this, that it sometimes women can look. There's plenty of guys on Fish Fam that'll you would think they just got out of bed and decided to do a video, and they're pulling it off.
Yeah.
Where as women, I don't see too many of that going on. I every time usually I see a woman on camera or doing a video, she's put a little bit of thought into what she's gonna look like when she's doing the video. You can see her hair is a certain way, and
Yeah.
it looks like she it's not like what do you call it, bedhead, where you see is like literally run out of oh, let me do a video, let me turn on the camera and do that, where
So
it's not as in common with men. You see a lot more of that.
moneyless Shirley says, okay, so what's the double? So what's supposedly the double standard? We're not at this particular point. We're just talking about the difficulties.
No, I did say there was a double standard, and the double standard is that
yeah.
most with as far as men,
they could look like a rag bag. They could look like a bum and have a video and nobody say a word.
Literally have come from digging a trench out in the yard all day,
yeah,
all sweat stained and everything.
Yeah, nobody would say a word.
Do a video,
yeah.
Tell them what you're gonna tell them, and that's it. Where I don't know if women can actually.
I don't think they get away with it without having somebody saying something about their looks.
Without somebody being nasty to them.
Yeah, without somebody being nasty to them. I really don't think in this day and age, with the stuff that I read, that women in the comments, because while I'm watching a video, I am reading everybody's comments while I'm watching, and I see some of the comments that are really needlessly putting in there, like why is that necessary? I've seen it. I mean, whether it's right or wrong, it happens. Yeah, it's just, that's where the double standard comes in. Guys could look like anything and nobody say a word. Where, if a woman doesn't look like a supermodel, all of a sudden people have an issue. And if they do look like a supermodel, guess what? People have an issue. This is like a lose-lose situation.
Well, that was the initial issue that I was trying to address, because I made that assumption. That's what I was telling you is, here's another one that's going out there and just trying to, poach from here to take it somewhere else and increase that. But no, I was totally wrong for that, and I was totally off base with my assumption. Because the more that I listen to those videos, the more I can tell that the person is actually a knowledgeable person. And so, it is what it is.
Getting a lot of mixed reviews on what we're saying. Some people saying they agree, some people saying they don't agree. And I mean, basically, that's the whole point of this live stream is that there is no consensus on this. It's,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's always,
I think it really boils down to making a self examination of yourself. You know, that's what I've had to do. Um, I've had to I had to reassess what the way I think and the assumptions that I was making and realize that I was totally incorrect for doing that. I was totally wrong for allowing myself to believe that. And so, you know, but I think the only way this gets addressed is if you're really honest with yourself. Which comment are you reading?
Aquarium Talk TV.
Oh, what is this one?
You ain't lying. You
Let's see,
ain't
most
lying.
online about women doing well, flaunting their looks, and typically jealous and unsuccessful. Not saying anyone here. It's a hot topic in the hobby. Yeah, I know it is. I know it is. And so that's why we decided to kind of tackle it. I know it's been attempted in different places, but you know, is it fair? That's what the whole question was when I asked you, is it a pro or a con? Because it can be a pro, but then you get people like me that look at it as a con because I made an assumption based off of stupidity of mine, you know.
I'm gonna be 100% honest with you, and I've always said I'm my worst critic. I'm my biggest troll. That so these women that have that look good, but also are legit fish tubers that have these channels that grow because whether it be, you know, let's be real, a lot of people sub to them because they're dirty, nasty dudes. They're dirty, nasty dudes that sub to them. That's nobody's fault except for the dirty, nasty dudes. You can't blame them. I don't want your sub because you're a dirty, nasty dude. Hey, dirty, nasty dudes, you could sub to me. If you're a dirty, nasty woman, you could sub to my channel. I'm all right with it. As a YouTuber that's been doing this for a minute with only whatever amount of subs I have, do I look at these channels and be like, yeah, I'm human. I ain't gonna lie. But as somebody who somebody who really who hopes that people are successful and can help other people out, I applaud that. But am I human? And do I go, man? I do. I ain't gonna lie. Anybody who says that they don't has to be honest with yourself. But I also applaud the fact that they are reaching people that I cannot. I can't reach. I wish I could reach the at home mother with kids. She can.
Yeah.
She can. I can't. So I applaud her for that. Do I wish I had her had an angle? Yep. I don't though.
Yeah. And you know, so that was the other one. And then the other one that I wanted to talk about because and he's here. He's one of the people that I really admire when it comes to his knowledge. And in that category, for me, it's Ian from Atkin Aquatics, Coral, uh, and then Nick from In My Tanks. These guys are a lot younger, and you know, most people because they're so young would assume that their experience in aquariums or whatever it is that they're doing or whatever information they're presenting might not be as valid because they, especially like the older generation. Um, I see that happen a lot where they get questioned, they get pushback, they get a lot of you don't know what you're talking about, and it's just merely on the fact that they're young. Yeah, what's up? What's going on?
Uh, can you say that channel's name? You know I'm terrible at it. Somebody's asking like who generally. We're talking about women in general, but there's a particular channel that kind of spurred.
Florina, I think is the name of the channel.
Florina, but it's
Fishy Oasis or Fishy something like. It's weird. If you find. I think you find her under that name, but it'll take you directly to her fitness channel, and then from there you can figure out which other channel is the fish channel. But yeah, it's and even she talks about it, saying that she had to create another channel because the people in her fitness channel were not liking the fish content, which that's not uncommon. If I were to start doing a channel on cigars, most of you guys wouldn't want to hear about that because it's supposed to be a fish channel. What are you laughing at now?
I'm not familiar with Shirley, but she's funny to me.
Oh yeah, you're missing out,
She's
man.
tripping me out. She's tripping me out. Shirley, I don't know who you are, but you tripping me out, homegirl.
It's
For
her
real.
and her daughter, and
She's she's like, it's me. Y'all talk. I'm the supermodel y'all talking about. But go ahead. What, I don't know. I'm sorry. I know you're not used to people looking at the comments, but I can't help
that's
myself.
fine. No, I'm glad you're here. That's what was kind of the other thing because you keep me in line when it comes to that. I'm horrible when it comes to trying to keep up with the chat. I hate that awkward silence while I'm reading.
Yeah. No, I got you. Mm.
So,
but yeah, I don't. I wish I didn't feel and even though I look, so that particular channel and I gotta admit,
you know what, you go ahead and talk about it. Let me drop her link so that people know exactly who, since we brought her up.
Here's the thing. I actually was very premature in sticking up for her, right? I was. I was premature. I was like real quick to be like, yo, I watched like 1 or 2 videos and I was like, no, she's awesome. And I did my live stream and then I was like, oh snap. What if she, turns out to be exactly what everybody says she was? So I was like watching every video she did. I was like, you better stay on the right track. And she has been. So I have no problem saying what I'm saying. I really don't. I co-sign that channel. You know what I'm saying? She has her kids in the video. Her husband is the cameraman. So if her husband has a problem with how she looks, that's between her and her husband. I know the comment comes up with like, oh, the way she stands. I'm gonna be honest with you. She's gonna look however she's gonna look, no matter how she stands. There's no getting around it. You ain't gonna hide it. You know what I mean? She could be standing however she stands. She's gonna look a certain type of way. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. I gotta put this on.
Sure, I found it right now. I'm trying my best to be tech savvy, and I'm showing my age, obviously. But this is the link. Yeah, she's the mom with the red hair, and it's Fishy Oasis is the name of the actual channel. Let's see what else. So yeah, no, it was just one of those things where I know Funk had been oops. Let me do this again. Showing you what the hell. I'm not getting anything right today. Started pushing buttons and I'm gonna end up kicking myself out. You gotta drop Linktree. I don't know if she's got one. I know what it is. I don't know if she's got one. Again, you and me both. Yeah, no. So that was kind of the thing. But the last thing that I had told Funk, whether it's is there a double standard when it comes to age? Because this is why I'm going to say this. I'm going to use me as an example, and the reason I say that is because I look a certain age. People will assume that, and I keep aquariums, that I've kept them for a long time, and that I know my way in and out of an aquarium. And unfortunately, that's an assumption that is made just because of my appearance. Because I look of a certain age, it looks like it just, the older you are, the more wisdom, I guess, you kind of supposed to present. But the reality is, there's probably about 80% of you guys in this chat that are younger than I am and have way more knowledge when it comes to the aquarium hobby. And that could be a disadvantage for you guys because people will assume that just because I'm an older guy that keeps aquariums, that he's the one that I want to talk to because he's got it all figured out because he's been doing this for a long time. When in reality, I walked away from the hobby for so long, and I think I've mentioned this before too, that by the time I came back, I almost didn't recognize the hobby because it had changed so much. Everything from what was popular in filtration, the species of fish that were available. The biggest thing was plants. Plants were not a thing when I was younger, like in the late 80s, early 90s. They might have been around, but not like they are today, and then definitely not as many variations of those species. So, and I know some of you guys have been keeping fish through all that evolution, and I haven't. I've missed out on all of that. I'm playing catch up, but I'm smart enough to know that I don't know shit, and I'm willing to listen, and I'm willing to learn from whoever is willing to teach me. So, that that's a sad reality. And again, it's one of those things where it really is our prejudice, I guess, or lack of understanding or self-awareness, really. Which one are you reading? Because I see you intently reading.
I'm just catching up. What are we talking about? We're talking about old people, geezers.
Oh no, young guys not getting, or younger people not. Why did I say guys? You see, there I go, my fucking prejudice. Just younger people in the hobby that they get this dismissed just because they're younger. They assume that they don't have the knowledge. Especially, where I really see this is like in fish clubs, where you have the old folks that have been there for ages, and you start getting these younger, and it seems like the younger fish keepers that are coming in.
I agree 100%.
Are a lot more informed than you or I would have been at that same age coming into a fish club. And it's just because of accessibility of information.
Okay, but there's two different types of informed. There's informed by consuming information from the internet or from reading, and informed by experience. I believe that there are younger people that have both because of access to so many. Like you said, back in the day, dude, we didn't have access to this many fish. We didn't have access to 10-gallon aquariums for $10. We didn't have access to a lot of this stuff. Now a lot of these younger cats do have access to a lot of the, fish. They get them online. You get a whole bunch of different types of species from all over the country online. So a lot of these younger cats do have access to fish at their age than we did at that age. So, but there are some that just still don't have the time because of their age. So there is a difference, but that doesn't mean they should be dismissed. And fish clubs are notorious for that. As far as on YouTube, the problem lies in how they present themselves. And even then, I don't know if it's their problem or our problem. Let me explain to you what I'm talking about. So you know how I'm always like studying YouTube. I'm always studying YouTube. So I am trying to basically study what the younger people are doing in YouTube, because the younger people on YouTube are really what's driving YouTube, to be honest with you. To be real, X-Gen, I'm X-Gen. We don't watch as much YouTube as the younger generation does. So YouTube, the younger generation is what's really inputting their information into the YouTube algorithm the most. So they have a bigger impact on what YouTube algorithm thinks, because they're on it way more.
Yeah.
So if you're a younger fish tuber, you kind of have your pulse. You kind of have your finger a little bit more on the pulse of what YouTube is wanting. Now, if you follow the path of like Bass Pro Fishing and stuff like that, you're gonna lose respect with people like us and people like in the chat. You just are. They're gonna be like, oh, this is another sensationalism guy. He's not really in it for the hobby. He's in it for the views and the clicks.
Well, I'm gonna tell you one that, and again, I might have to eat my words on this one, but I'm just going to be straight honest with you, and it kind of goes into the category of the tubers you're creating. But I remember watching Paul Cafaro when he was a kid, and it seemed to me that when he was starting out as a little kid, it was certain enthusiasm and desire to learn.
Yeah.
But the older that he became more of wanting to become an influencer, in my opinion. and it
Hmm.
seemed like he really, it was more sensationalized what he was doing for the views than
Yep.
actually being a hobbyist. And I don't know if I'm mistaken in making that assumption that I don't consider him a hobbyist because of what he's currently doing. And that doesn't mean that I followed it entirely. I just kind of caught him when he was younger, quit watching it for a while, and then when I came back and he was much older, it wasn't anything that I remember. It was, you know, kind of like what you would what they call the Florida boys, the Florida YouTuber boys, like
Yeah.
what you were talking about, those the bass whatever guys, and
Yeah. Yeah.
catch them all, and but he's
Yeah.
not really
Yeah.
younger. He's
Rods.
those
So
kind of
100%. And right here they're saying Aquarium Talk TV saying that these people don't care. 100% right. They don't care.
yeah.
So they don't really care what us as true hobbyists care what they think as long as their channel is growing.
Well, but the
So
thing is, because they've become influencers, I guess that's the
yeah,
difference. Where it's
yeah, 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 yeah,
they've bet the farm on YouTube, so now
yeah.
they have to feed the monster. It's kind of like you got to always go bigger and bigger and bigger just to keep it coming.
Now here's my thing, and I always play devil's advocate. If I was getting up there and probably making the money they are, would I be like, you know what? I want to go back to being a purist and take a huge pay cut. I would look inward and be like, I have totally disrespected my original goals and hobbies. I'm going back to the beginning. I'm going back to the love of hobby, and I'm just gonna go ahead and throw away everything.
Yeah, but the whole thing is also is, and what was it last year I think, where you had all of a sudden all these huge channels that were on YouTube for a while and had bet the farm on becoming content creators were all quitting because they were all burned out trying to continue that pace. And that's the one thing that I don't hear a lot of people really talk about with the bigger channels is the exhausting pace that it is to try to continue to be more and more and more every time to be able to garner that attention that they have, or else, because if they don't continue to do more and more, people just leave, and they won't watch. And I can only imagine that that's got to be super exhausting, because especially in this hobby, because this hobby is this small compared to everything else that's out there. It's kind of like, how many times are you going to do how many topics is there really in this hobby that you can cover without beating it to death over and over and over?
Yeah, and I mean, I talk about that on my members only. Like I'll talk about when I'm doing a video. Um, when I'm doing a video, I talk about, like I want to do a video on angelfish, but damn, how do I do a video on angelfish that hasn't already been said? How do I make it different? How do I make it more exciting? How do I, make a video that, is different than the others? So yeah, dude, if somebody really wanted to be YouTube famous, this is the worst genre to do it in.
Well,
Like
and okay, and,
the
that
worst.
that goes back to these guys that they call the Florida boys,
Yeah.
because they realize that very quick that the popularity is not going to be staying
No,
true to the hobby. It's going to be doing stuff that might tie in
sensationalism.
yeah, and but that's why when people say, well, is that a that's where I guess the argument or the debate comes is, are they hobbyists or are they content creators? And I think at this point they've gone beyond being hobbyists to content creators.
Yeah,
And
yeah, they're a show. They're a
yeah,
show. They're like Jackass for the
yeah, that's
pet
exactly,
world. You know what I mean?
that's exactly what I think. It's kind of like, they become, obviously they're not doing out there outrageous stunts like those guys were,
Yeah,
but
but
they're
there's a
doing.
script to it. There's like a script. You need to have like at least three guys, and every about 6 seconds you got to have somebody going, dude. You got to have somebody in the background constantly go like Beavis and Butthead, and like on cue, they're like 5 seconds, dude, 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 dude. And if you do that, and then do a lot of jump cuts, and you're like, bam, and bam, and bam, and then you could be big. You could be big. Let's do it, me and you. Let's do it.
No,
Come
I'm too
on.
old. I get tired too quick, man. That's too
Yeah,
exhausting.
it's exhausted.
That's
We're
the
just,
whole thing.
just sitting
What are we
down
gonna
drinking
do
beer.
anyways?
We're just sitting down drinking beer.
We're
Like,
gonna collect fish in the wild, and we never get out of the car because like it's too hot.
dude, we're like, dude, it's hot out there, man. Like,
It's too
turn
many
the
bugs
AC
out
up.
there.
I mean, like, yo, hey, dude, turn the AC up. Wake me up. Wake me up. I'm taking that. Wake me up. Dude, wake me up.
Yeah, but yeah, I think going back to the original question, whether there's a double standard in the hobby, I think there is. There's definitely
yeah.
and it's not necessarily just gender specific. It could be ageism. It could be whatever. It's unfortunately there is the double standard. It's what can we do to change it? I don't know. I think societies in general has to change.
Here's the jacked up part. Here's the jacked up part. So you know how the YouTube algorithm changes with every generation because it's taking all the information from the people who are consuming content. Okay, so these younger people who are consuming content, the algorithm's like, oh, there's a lot of these guys who are asking for the sensationalism stuff, so it's pushing it out there. Could you imagine when that younger generation becomes our age, how extreme their kids are going to be? What the hell YouTube is going to be then? If we think YouTube is ridiculous now.
But it might not be even real anymore because you have the advent of AI. And AI keeps getting better and better to the point where it's getting harder and harder to tell what's real and what isn't. I mean, there's still a lot of stuff that's AI generated that's very obvious, but I think it's intentionally created to be very obvious that it's AI. What gets scary, it's when it starts getting more realistic. And so, yeah, I think it's going to get more extreme, but not because people are actually doing the stuff, but it's just imagination is going to take over. And you're going to be able to dictate, oh, do this. And there's going to be something out there that is going to be able to create exactly what you're thinking. And it's probably going to get to the point where you don't even have to type it in. You just got to have a thought and even imagine the entire thought, and something's going to be able to capture that and reproduce it exactly like what you're seeing in your mind and go, oh yeah, there it is. That's exactly.
Ain't nobody putting nothing in my head. Ain't
no,
nobody.
I'm not even talking about. Well, we're going to be dead, fool, by that time. We're going to be pushing tulips by then.
So, all right. So are we biased of young people? Do we think just because they're young, they don't know what they're talking about because of their age? Probably so. As much as we hate to admit it, we're human and we cannot help that. We cannot help it.
I think that one for me is a little bit easier to say.
No.
No, because, and it's probably because I am true to myself in the aspect that I know that my knowledge is very limited because I know how long I've been away from this.
I got you.
So I don't make that assumption when somebody starts talking to me. I don't immediately make the assumption just because and in this case, sadly to say, about 80% of the people that I interact with today are probably going to be younger than me anyways because of my age group.
Yeah.
And,
so I get what you're saying because I got out of the saltwater hobby for a long time. So yeah, I don't. If I go into a LFS and there's a young person working in the saltwater section, I don't go, oh, I know more than you just because of my age. You want to hear a funny story? This is a funny story. I think you would relate to this. So, I'm doing this VA thing, right? And I'm trying, and they give me all these different places to do these VA classes. I gotta go and do these Zoom meetings all the time. I don't know who the hell I'm talking to most of the time or for what. Recently, I had a VA Zoom meeting and I didn't know what it's for. And I'm sitting there and I'm listening to this guy talk to me, right? Because they don't tell you what it's for. When you look on your app, your VA app, to find out, oh, you have a VA video conference at this time, click the link, it'll pop up. Okay, I popped up. And I'm sitting there and I'm listening to this guy and I'm trying to figure out what the hell am I here for? I don't know what I'm here for. I'm trying to get help for my knee and my back, medical reasons. What the hell am I here for? And as he's talking, I figure out why I'm there. And I said, hold up, man. I don't mean to be rude, but I have a lot of these VA conferences and I get confused. What exactly is this particular meeting for? Oh, this is I'm a life coach. This dude was 25 years old. I said, a life coach? He said, yeah, I'm a life coach for the VA. And I said, I don't need no life coach, bro. He goes, well, a life coach can be helpful. I said, how old are you, man? I said, I don't mean to sound like that old guy who be like, yeah. But I know who I am. You know what I'm saying? I don't need somebody to tell me who I am and what my aspirations are and stuff like that. He was like, well, just because of my age. I was like, man, take me off of this. Take me off of this. I don't need no life. What the hell is a 25 going to tell me? So, yeah, I got you. But I don't need no damn life coach from a 25-year-old. I'm sorry. For everybody who's 25 over there, I'm not trying to be disrespectful to you. You might be able to tell me something about, saltwater fish, freshwater fish, planet tank, something like that. Okay, whatever. But as far as being a life coach, yeah, nah.
Yeah, you got to have some life behind those years to be able to coach anybody about life.
I said a life coach. The hell you gonna tell me? I just turned 49 years old. Get the hell out of here for life coach.
Yeah.
Oh man, I found that funny.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I do. The problem is not everybody learns from those experiences, though. Or maybe they do learn that they're not going to learn. And so, I know some guys some friends, because I've known them for a long time. Hey, Ian, I was just talking about you earlier.
He was saying so much stuff. He was talking crap, dude. He said you got two left feet and you run in a circle.
Yeah, cooties.
He was talking crap.
And it's just it's sad in a way, because I still look at them and it's like the same guys that they were in high school and they're my age now. They have, for some god miracle, they created grandkids now. Well, they didn't create, but they're grandparents, and I'm going, how the hell are you going to teach that kid anything if you haven't even figured it out for yourself? But
yeah,
so just being older doesn't automatically make you a lot smarter.
I agree, but
yeah, 25-year-old life coach, that's a hard sell.
Yeah,
that's a hard sell.
I'm not that. Look, some people, I will say this. Some people benefit from that type of stuff. I'm not in that camp. I'm not at all. I mean, I'm a knuckle dragger, mouth breather type. I really am. Kind of old school that way.
Well, yeah, I guess so. I was gonna do something, and I don't know, maybe you'll talk me off the ledge off of this one, but
what?
You and I have kind of expressed what we think and what we believe.
Yeah.
Would anybody in the chat be interested in adding to the conversation? We normally don't drop a link and have people come up, because usually it's just me and Funk talking.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome.
I'm kind of curious. Do any of you guys would like to contribute to the conversation? If so, give me
especially
a thumbs up, and I'll put down the link if that is something you guys are interested in doing. If not, then we can pretty much wrap it up, because I think we've kind of that, unless somebody wants to contribute or add or just give their thoughts on the subject.
But you have to have something to say. Like, just don't come up here and be like, hey fellas, what's up? No, something to say. Like, what I mean? You got to have something to say. Right. In my tank says, yeah.
Okay, let me do that then.
Yeah.
Let me go. Oh wait. You know what? I haven't dropped the link in so long that I'm going to tell you that I forgot how to do it. I got to go get it from. Oh, I just dropped the Instagram link. I mean the invited guest. There you go. God, how long has it been since I've actually had? Well, you know what it was? It was the helicopter man that shied
Oh
me away
yeah.
from inviting anybody to come up.
Nor Norfolk Southern Vlog. What Norfolk are you talking about?
Isn't that Melvin? I thought that was Melvin.
Did he change his name again?
Yeah,
Melvin,
he's tricked me up a whole
every
bunch of times.
year. Melvin, you got multi-personality disorder, bro.
It was the link good, or do I need to do it through YouTube? I forgot. I haven't
I
done.
see it in the chat.
I know, but is it hyperlinked so that they can use
I
it?
don't
That's
know.
the question.
I
'Cause
don't know.
yeah, I know. You and I are both fucking old farts that forget a lot of. We forget a lot more than what we learned. Oh, there you go. Christine's up. Great. Perfect. Because now
Christine. Okay,
here,
who's Christine?
yes.
Let me know ahead of time.
Hey, Christine.
Sweet Acres, how you doing?
What do you think about our conversation that we've been having?
She's about to chastise us.
Yeah, good. We need to be chastised.
we're bad.
You guys are so wrong on so many things. It's hilarious to listen to it. But I guess it's a male perspective, so I get it.
That's all we got.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's the only thing I've ever been.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you something, okay?
Please.
There are a lot of women out there, and I know several of them in the fish community. And you don't have to put me on single screen, okay?
Okay.
But I'm just saying, they could easily go out there with tube tops and shorts. And I mean, I know a lot of women that have ponds, okay, which you're not subject to because you don't watch the channels I watch. We could all be out there in shorts and a tube top and, get it all going and get the makeup and the long nails. And yeah, no, we don't have to do that. We don't want to do that. That's not the attention we're trying to draw. We are trying to draw women out there and children and men that actually just want to concentrate on the fish, the ponds, stuff like that. We're not out there to do that kind of stuff. And then you said, oh, women won't go out there after getting all sweaty. If you ever watched my live, I don't think you have, because I stream with a gal. Her name is Maureen, and she runs Keep Koi Haven. And when we were streaming with Chris Stubbs and Shane from Hertz Koi, I mean, she's out there working in the heat. She's got her hair all pulled back just because she's trying to work with her brother, Pat. She's sweaty, armpits sweaty, sweat rolling off her face. She gets on there, hurry up, does the hour live, and then goes back out. If we cared so much about what you all think, we would not be getting out on a live sweaty, armpits stinking, everything, to go and do a live, catch everybody up on what we're doing, and then get off the live. Now, that being said, I know there are women out there that literally want to show that off. That's what they want. But you got to understand, the attention they're trying to seek is from not just people in the fish community, because that would be the main focus of their video. They are trying to attract a wider, broad audience. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. They're okay with having people look at them. They're all right walking around in public exposing themselves. They don't care. And that's fine. If they don't, they don't. But there are women like us that, I was raised in a very strict Catholic family. You don't go outside at all showing your body. You do not show cleavage. You will never find me in a video on my Facebook page, on my YouTube page, where I'm not wearing a t-shirt, full on jeans. That's it. I do not go out in public, and you can ask my husband, I do not go out in public in even shorts, because that's, to me, showing off too much. I mean, there are women out there like me that are very conscious about what kind of attention you're going to get when you walk out in public. Even as a teenager, never once did I go to school in shorts. Never once. That's just the way I am. Jeans and a t-shirt, you cover up when you go out in public. That's the way it goes. So I know there's women out there like that. You can see in some of the channels that you watch, if you actually pay attention, because I don't think you paid that much attention. You paid attention now because you saw a woman that was thin, had butt implants, had nice big boobs, and okay, now it's in your face. Now you see it. And you're like, whoa, she can't be real. What she's saying can't be true, because she can't be that hot and know anything. Okay, no. And I'm glad Funk said no. He's like, I'm going to give her a chance. I'm going to go ahead and start really listening to what she's got to say and put the blinders on and see what she's got to say. And he was even said himself, he was shocked that she actually knew what she was talking about. But see, there's some of us who don't even want that attention. We don't want you looking like that. We don't want you seeing us like that. We just want you to look at the personality, and we want you to share in the love of the hobby. And this is why I'm very glad that I transitioned back into the fish tank community and not just the koi community, because I found that there was a lot more women like me in the fish tank community than I ever thought there would be. And when I started meeting Jody P, look at her. You see that woman out there with her boobs all pushed up and showing no, that's not the attention she wants. She's smart. She knows it. She don't need to do that. People go watch her because they like her. They like her personality. You see what I'm saying? So to me, being a woman, that that's fine. If they want to do that and that's the attention they want to get, and they want more people to actually say, well, if I'm going to listen to a chick's channel, at least it's eye candy, and I can at least watch her. That's fine. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Then go watch it. If you want to watch somebody because you truly do like their personality and they're just like you and you guys can learn off each other, there's way more channels out there that I could watch than to deal with that. That's all I'm saying. I mean, I know what you men are looking at it like that, but you got to also understand that there's men out there doing the same dang thing.
Yep, I agree, 100%.
Exactly. I followed a dude. I'm not going to tell you what country he was or what state or anything, because it's really a devastating story. Very bulky guy, easy on the eyes, great personality, and literally just started pulling a bunch of people together for money. And he started building this big, huge koi farm and acting like he knew everything. And because he was easy on the eyes, it was easy to watch.
That's why everybody follows me. I'm so damn sexy.
Exactly. But I mean, what
it's
wound
the
up
shine.
happening? The guy wound up failing.
Shine.
His channel failed and he failed. He was having death because he didn't know how to take care of them. And he was running a channel, like you said, just basically as a content creator. That's what he was running it on. He wasn't running it on his knowledge or the actual love of the hobby, or maybe even the love of the fish. He was doing it, and he failed. He only could BS so long before everything started caving in. And I sat and watched this whole process of his. It was sad, actually.
I had to jump on because when I saw what I was like, name the channel name for a reason, because recently a fish keeping friend, male friend who was in your guys' age range, sent me that channel. And he was like, is this person trying to sexualize the content? Like, are these angles intentional, or am I just crazy? I was like, I was like, oh, you sweet child. So Jorge, I did a deep dive on this individual, and what Christine said was so right. It's like she's a bad example because she is appealing intentionally to people outside of the hobby because she has an OnlyFans. Like, so what the people with these channels, she has like 6 different niches of content that she makes, and all of them lead to the OnlyFans. So it's like you can't base like this channel. It has nothing to do with like fish stuff at all. Like it is 100% for the purpose of that.
No, I kind of disagree though. If you watch her videos, her content is legit.
Dog, I
It is
don't have to watch it.
legit.
I look at the thumbnail. Okay, the thumbnail.
That's where I
Thumbnail
was
doesn't
arguing
tell
with
you
Fuck.
shit about a video or a person.
Yeah, but
that's where-
listen, you guys don't understand though the how the OnlyFans people build their platforms. Like this.
No,
is
I think I have a good.
base-
I'm a hustler,
base
so I
model,
understand
like-
it. So when you go and
it's
you're
in
building an
It's in the
OnlyFans,
description. The thumbnails are a very recognizable
For sure.
style.
I
Okay, you don't
100%.
put your ass to the thumbnail if the point is for people to be learning about videos about fish. Like I'm sorry,
100%,
like,
100%. But listen, thumbnails are what people are one of the main attractions, if not the most important piece to attracting somebody to a video. Next is the title. Thumbnail first, title second. And if you have something like, let's just say, for example, an OnlyFans, and you can gravitate towards niches and hobbies and things that maybe that you might have some experience about to grab somebody, whether you have knowledge or not, and that might be your intention to lead them to another platform, just like Instagram. If somebody has an Instagram channel and they want to grow their page in order to push people over to their YouTube channel, meanwhile that's their main focus, that's a hustle. That's a respectable hustle, but that's a hustle, right?
yeah,
You know,
I think
so
it's
at what
totally
point,
respectable.
yeah, so like at what point, no, for sure, 100%. But again, like different strokes for different folks, my man. You know what I mean? Like it is what it is, like if I haven't seen this channel, don't even know anything about it, but until tonight. But however, like if there was some knowledge there, there's got to be something there. Now, however, the majority of the people that I have seen or had this conversation with, because this is a very hot topic, is people that are typically, not all of them, but people that are typically either they're having struggles growing on YouTube or growing their platform or their channel, and then they see these other channels come up, and I get it, I see it, and they start off maybe 6 months ago and they got 20,000 YouTube subscribers. And that's a tough pill to swallow for a lot of people that are hobbyists trying to deliver the right information, and they're trying to get it out to the masses, but they're like, hey man, can the real win? Right? But some of these people, some of them are actually knowledgeable. I'm not talking about this specific person because I don't know anything about them or anything like that.
I know, but we're talking about this specific person.
But I'm the topic.
They're
The
basing a lot
topic
of what
is
they're saying off.
the
Of this
topic
specific
is
person.
the topic is women women dressing a certain way or acting a certain way in the hobby.
Yeah,
and
but that was their main example. So like, if it's not relevant to the actual fish niche, it's a bad example. Like you can't say that
you see, it all
fish
started
channel.
with
You
the
can't
fact-
say women in fish channels are flaunting their stuff if your example is someone where the fish is like a tertiary factor. Like again, you literally admitted you've not seen the channel. You have no idea what the channel's talking about.
That specific one, right?
Yeah, that's the one that we're talking about. So. Like the video was like 20 minutes of her setting up a tank. There's like 8 outfit
Well, that's what
changes.
you're talking about. That's not what we're talking about.
That's literally the channel example.
Oh no, that was the example.
The example.
Yeah, that was
okay.
Yeah,
that was.
But wasn't the overall topic about something else? That's what I'm saying.
There was three different topics that were discussed, but that first one was probably the lead topic that we started off with.
But yeah, I mean, she doesn't even light the tank in the videos. She changes to like 8 different pairs of yoga pants. I mean, there's not really much to talk about what the point of that video is,
No.
Like, I'm sorry, you could claim, you could say all you want, like, oh, there's knowledge or whatever, but like, I mean,
How come I can't
Christine,
see him?
like, you got to back me up here. Like, I feel like exactly what you said spoke to me. It's like she's reaching for a way different audience. Like, I don't even get her videos recommended to me Because
Well,
I don't like the
what
the
knowledge
thumbnail
is
doesn't have
she
anything to do with
sharing? Because,
fish.
like Jorge said, she's
But you're
she's
but
relearning. She's
yeah, I think
relearning the
you're just
art. So she's
generalizing it. Like
literally,
in
what
my
is she
opinion,
offering?
You
yeah.
can't have an opinion on our channel. You haven't watched it. You already
No,
clearly know
no.
nothing about what we're
Listen,
talking about.
listen. So if I'm
No,
talking about a specific,
I'm not generalizing. I'm being very specific talking about our channel. And you already said you haven't watched it. You clearly are completely lost on.
but
I
you're
have.
generalizing it to the you're generalizing it
I'm
to
not.
the.
I'm being
First of
specific.
all, you guys talking about what women do and how women are, it's kind of funny because you're not women. And I'm not saying you don't
Yeah.
have an opinion. I'm just saying that you can't speak from a woman's perspective, which is the most important part here. I
Thank
want to put up there that
Yep.
a lot of these women, and it's not just in the fish hobby, it's not, it's everywhere. But you have to remember that women, for as long as man has been alive, have been taught that their worth is tied up in what a man thinks of them. I don't even care if they're lesbian. That's I mean, seriously, ask anyone,
Right.
ask any woman if they were taught that what they were worth was how a man would react to them. So you can't really get upset at these women for doing what they were taught. People like me or Chris, we don't care, obviously, care about how we look so much
Don't care.
as the information and the knowledge we're providing, because we feel like our contribution is more knowledge and learning things like that, other than how we look. I mean, a lot of women who do that, not that they aren't smart, that's not what I'm saying, that they don't feel like that's enough, maybe. But the thing is, the bottom line is, we are conditioned from the time we are old enough to understand English language that our worth is tied up in how other people, and especially men, react to us and what they think of us. That is the problem.
Yeah, exactly. You dress for the attention you're looking for.
Exactly.
Bottom line, that's the way it is.
Yeah, and we have to have the attention because, like I said, our worth is tied up in how much attention we can get for whatever reason. So women do that, and they project that because that's what they're taught. I mean, whether they know that consciously or not, it's a totally subconscious, trained in your brain kind of thing.
Yeah, and I would definitely never speak from a woman's perspective, but that's why I said in the chat, I want them to name the channel they're talking about. So they name the specific channel, because me as a man, I just don't see that at all. Like, I've not really seen many women trying to use their looks in this content niche to get some kind of I just haven't seen that, like, even a little bit. So that's why it's important when you're talking about these things. Yeah, don't generalize. Like, you have to give examples about what you're talking about, or else
I could give examples though. I could give examples though, because I have watched damn near all her videos. So here it is. And the reason why I watched all her videos is, like I said, I stuck up for her, so I wanted to make sure I wasn't sticking up for the wrong person. I was like, oops, okay. I stuck up for somebody. I need to make sure that, So
we know what Funk's looking for.
No, it's not.
I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding.
So let me tell you about my channel. I've always, and I've said this from the beginning, I believe YouTube is about, relating to somebody. Okay. Her channel relates to mothers. She has her kids running around, helping out in all her videos. She has her husband. It's a very family oriented video.
Oh my God! Funk, stop!
What exactly?
It
What exactly?
It is.
What? Like, are you
her
seeing
kids
the same
are
channel
there
that I've seen?
Have you watched all her videos?
I think my
Kids
husband
being there doesn't make it
would
family
bend
friendly.
down and take a shot of my ass so I can put that up on YouTube.
There is no shot just of her butt. There is no shot just of her butt. None.
Bro, please,
None.
I'm sharing my screen. Please show my screen. It's literally just the thumbnails of all of her videos is just her butt.
That's the thumbnails. That's the thumbnails.
That's the whole video. I'll play it right now.
Show the whole thing. Show the whole thing.
Bro, you're being so disingenuous.
Show it.
Oh, wow.
Are we gonna be intellectually dishonest?
How is she gonna walk through the door?
We're gonna talk from a men's point of view.
How is she gonna walk through the door? How do you want her to walk through the door? How do you want her to walk through the door?
49,
what? She's fully dressed.
How do you want her to walk through the door? Tell me, how do you want her to walk through the door?
She's fully dressed, people.
Walk however she wants, but I understand the purpose of this video.
How do you want her?
Video is not about this tank that doesn't even have a light on it.
Not yet. She's working on it. She's working on it.
Bro,
she's fully dressed. It sounds like She's
Look at
fully
this.
dressed. She's not showing anything. She's not
I
hurting anything.
How do you want her? What do you want her to
This
do?
looks like a
That's
normal
what she
video
is.
for me that I've watched
What do you,
from countless other fish tubers,
what
women
do
in
you
the
want her
hobby,
to
or
do?
anybody.
Like
Game
seriously,
fives.
people who have
That's
a
your
problem with that
hang
are
up.
the same
What's
people
no,
who
no,
say
no.
that.
I think you're just giving it like a biased opinion, bro.
I'm not
That's
giving
your
a
That
hang
biased
up.
video
opinion.
I've watched,
She's an
Yeah,
I've only
OnlyFans
seen
model
that one
promoting her
spot right there.
OnlyFans.
That whoever screen shared that, that's all I've seen.
Listen,
that's all of it.
listen,
That's all of
I'm not.
her videos are like
Everyone's
that.
entitled to your opinion. If you two want to look at this channel, and again, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. But if you're
Well,
gonna
then
look at
what's the
this channel, be dishonest about the purpose of it, like I'm sorry, dog. There's the knowledge,
Bro.
like,
Linda.
bro, please.
If
Like,
you look
please.
at her
I'll
videos,
let Chris D do the talking for now, but
all right.
like, come
But
on.
I'm saying if you look at her videos and you feel a certain type of way, that's not her fault.
No, that's your
nothing
fault. That's you.
I'm not,
against
bro.
her,
I'm
to
not.
be
I'm
honest
not
with you,
complaining
'cause
about her
I don't
videos
watch
at
her
all.
content. She could be the nicest person in the world. I'm not taking that from her. All
No.
I'm saying is the approach in which her husband is showcasing her. He is purposely providing eye candy for a certain group of people, and that's all I'm saying.
I don't
Yeah,
see how she
that's
could
self.
look any different.
How she wants her channel to grow is based on her body always being in the shot. That's funny. You know how many videos I've done of my fish and doing my tank and everything else? And guess what? I sat there and set this whole tank up, and never once did I have to have an ass shot. I'm just saying. You know,
Again,
but then again, I don't have a husband that wants to like make sure it's in there. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He understands that this is the main thing. This
Yeah.
is the topic, not the
I
way
got that.
I am, not the way I'm dressed, not what I look like. So
I got that, but it's not solely like I got that, but let's be real, like there's nothing she could do or wear where people would be satisfied.
No,
Well,
I agree with that.
We're not dissatisfied. That's what you're not understanding.
you're
There's
not.
nothing wrong
you're
with
not
it.
getting it.
I'm not saying
Why
I'm
are you
dissatisfied.
getting
I'm
it?
not
And-
saying
and
I'm
he's not
complaining.
getting it. I
Sorry.
don't get it.
Yeah, I just feel like, look, there's nothing wrong with the videos that she's making. I'm not complaining. I don't think that's bad. But her main thing is a fitness channel. It centers around how she looks in her body, and that is also going towards her OnlyFans. And the way that the content is, as someone that's worked in advertising and marketing and video production on a commercial level for a decade, I'm sorry, all the angles and stuff are extremely intentional, and there's just no way you could convince me that that's not the main purpose. But you're entitled to your opinion, so I'm not going to say your opinion's invalid, but like that my opinion isn't going to change as far as that goes.
Honestly, it just shows me that it's working. Honestly,
Okay,
what he's doing is working, and that's it right there in a nutshell.
So just real fast, so she has a fitness channel that's doing very well.
Then her body is her coin.
Yeah, and it's
So
great.
yeah, it's doing very well. She started to get back into the fish hobby, and she did a video of her putting her tank together. Her first video,
I saw
she
it.
did. Yeah, her first video originally she put on her fitness channel. Her fitness people hated it. So for her to be able to show her fish videos, she had to create a second channel.
Yeah, she wants to get those other people to come follow her to the fish channel. She's got to throw in a little bit of the body, you know. I mean, it's just, again, back to the conditioning.
She's trying to make money, and I get it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's those of us who actually want to be in this hobby for the hobby.
Yeah.
Those of us who want to meet people just to meet them. Hell, I could have gone monetized. I chose not to.
Yeah.
I'm in it for the love of the hobby, to meet people, to have this whole camaraderie. I'm not in it.
Yeah. Right. And if you are in it,
there's a difference of approach. That's all I'm saying.
If you are in it for the money, I mean, you have to use what you've got. And bottom line is sex sells. And that's not even, somebody said that it was family oriented and she had her kids there.
I did.
Yeah, I would have my kids there. I would have no problem with my kid watching that. None.
And if she was not telling truth, I'd have a problem with it. If she wasn't giving people good information, I would have a problem with it. But that's not the case. She is giving people good information, and that's where I'm at. So she's a legit fish channel. She's a legit fish channel.
I just think to me, this is just again my male perspective. To me, I would be worried about offending other women that I know who are into fish keeping by using her as an example that applies to them. I just don't think that. I know you think she's a legit channel, but like, I'm sorry. Like, if you're a Patriots fan, you're gonna get thirst trap videos of a girl in a Patriots outfit. Like, if you're into comic books, you're gonna get thumbnails of a girl dressed up as a comic book character. It doesn't mean that they actually care about that topic or anything like that. It's just that they're using a niche to serve it to you in a unique way.
Like I said, you got to use what you got.
That's what it is.
There's nothing wrong with it. Fine. But I just don't think you can compare her with like people whose channel is actually about keeping fish.
Her channel is about keeping fish, though.
Yeah, and just because she's using a hook to get people in doesn't mean that
there's not a single video where she's talking about keeping fish. It's all her setting up a tank. How many times can you set up a 55-gallon? Every single video starts with her ass walking through the door.
You really should watch her videos, though. I mean, that's
I've been watching this
you really
whole time.
No, you haven't, because
she has
3 tanks. She has 3 tanks. She has a 55, a 29, and she just set it up a 125. She's already explained to people about how to transfer beneficial bacteria to start a new tank. She's already talked about acclimation. She's talked about how to use how to test water for ammonia, nitrite, and nitrate. She's okay. I mean,
I'm glad, you know what.
I don't know what else you want her to do.
You enjoy her channel. I don't want her to do anything. I think her channel is fine.
Exactly.
But I validate that you enjoy her channel.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm sorry I don't mean to say that you shouldn't enjoy it for the fish content in it. In my opinion, I don't think that's the focus, but I do recognize that she is talking about fish topics in it.
Okay, the thing is, though, she'll have 2 sets of viewers. She'll have those who come to look at her ass, and they'll have some that come for the fish.
Yes, she will.
Her problem is not. She doesn't have a problem. She's doing fine. She's legit. She's got the information. Her problem isn't hers. Her problem is those who look at her and say, "Oh my God, she's just about her body." That's on them. That is not her. Her confidence is good. If you've got a problem with it, that's your shit, not hers. Sorry,
all I know is that I just counted in 14.
It's no different than women who are out there shoving their breasts up in your
face. Exactly.
Okay, well, if you don't like it, it's your problem. No,
no.
You should like set an example and not make it all about having tight tops on and pants that show the actual entire crack of somebody's ass.
Yeah, but she's not dressing bad. I mean, that's normal dress wear, in my opinion. I mean, I don't wear it because I'm fat, but
I don't know where you live, but not where I live. I don't go to the store and see anybody dressed like that.
I'm in Florida. I'm in Florida, and if you go to Walmart or anywhere, everybody's dressed like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
But then again, I guess maybe we're looking at it more of a conservative.
Yeah.
She's not walking around in lingerie, people.
I do have a question, though, since it's about double standards. All right, we talked about this lady's channel.
Yeah.
Do you think that there are fish YouTubers that are men that would be less successful if they were less conventionally attractive?
Yeah.
Like, do you think
if they weren't looked at as wise and
do you think keeping fish simple would be as popular if he wasn't just kind of a decent looking young dude? What if he was like 600 pounds?
I think guys could get away with it more.
Yeah.
I think guys could get away with it more.
Because look, and I'm not picking on this person, but here's a spectrum where appearances really don't matter. Corey from a current call. I mean, he's at the other end of that spectrum, and he's extremely successful. So that's where I say that. Yeah, I think as a man, that's not such a big issue where you're not held to a standard. Huh?
Yeah. Especially on YouTube, where people look at you all the time. Any industry where you're being looked at all the time, you are being judged for your appearance, especially if you're a woman. Yes, men have to look nice and neat, but it doesn't matter if they're 400 pounds or if they're 12 pounds. It doesn't matter. A woman, if she's too skinny, she's too skinny. If she's too fat, she's too fat. And if they're not in that little box, all hell breaks loose, and women are not worth anything to anybody. That's what we're, like I said before, that's what we are taught. Our worth is tied up in how people see us, and you work with what you got.
Well, it depends too. If you're wanting to get that kind of attention, most of us were raised where we don't want that attention, so we didn't dress.
Sort of, because, like, for instance, me, this is the first time I've been on camera without any makeup on, and it's like it's a confidence thing. And I know I'm not, showing my boobs and all that other stuff. But the thing is, yes, it's degrees of attention. I don't want negative attention that I get. Oh, you look washed out, or you should take better care of yourself, or da da da. So I want the positive attention where people are paying attention to what I have to say. Whereas, sometimes people don't have any, they have to add a little bit extra. And the way I feel about it is if you've got a problem with how she dressed, don't watch it. If you got a problem with how she acts, don't watch it. But
Yeah.
somebody out there likes it, or else she
Yeah.
wouldn't be doing it. And it goes back to her being taught that that the attention she gets is what drives her worth.
Yeah.
But see, I just saying I don't have any problem with it.
Yeah.
The only thing I ever had a problem with was it being used as an example to say that this is what female fish tubers do in general. That's been my whole problem.
No, I don't.
I think
I
the
don't
point
think. Hold on, wait. What was the example? What did we say?
Well, it's
that
just,
that was
you were
an
talking
example.
about- sorry, go ahead.
No, you're fine. Go ahead. It was your point.
I was just saying that when talking about the double standard that was used as an example, but I just don't like. I would love to hear 3 other YouTubers you think do the same thing and talk about fish. I think that would be interesting, because I just haven't seen it. That's the only channel I've seen like that.
3 other female fish tubers.
Or male fish tubers if they're thirst trapping, but
I think the problem wasn't that she's the only example, or that all women are like that, so much as the double standard is that women have to be like that in order to be successful, or be told that they're worth anything. I think that's the double standard.
Yeah,
not
that's
that all
where
women do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I would rather not be successful if I had to do that.
Yeah, some people don't. I mean, everybody's different with how they feel about that.
That goes with your values and how you were raised.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got that. I totally get that. And as
for the same reason he did, because
we got a hand raise.
Yeah, let me give you the opinion of a 63-year-old Spanish.
Oh my goodness.
Yes,
here we go.
I'm the old one in the bunch.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Certainly Jorge and Funk can certainly collaborate with me as far as where the Hispanic machismo is. And I can tell you that I have ladies in my life and I have daughters. I think in last live when Jorge and Aqua Funk were talking about this lady, I looked up the channel. And I can tell you, I don't know what kind of fish they were because I could not take my face off her ass. I'm sorry, guys. And I go,
you're a dirty old man. That's why.
That is a you problem.
And I look, and the thing is that sometimes I call my wife. I say, check that ass out. Is it real or is it fake? And sometimes she'll point something out to me and say, what do you think? What do you think? And the thing is, I can tell you honestly. And the other thing is, now I'm sure you've seen it because he constantly keeps coming onto my life. You click on those things once and they keep coming on. This is a couple of really skinny chick with the, doing yoga. I mean, what are they showing me? And the thing is that it is very difficult to me. Yes, she's very smart. And I work in a profession when primarily it's women. I'm a nurse, 42 years, right? And now I can see I work with a whole bunch of very intelligent women, nurses and doctors. And as the old guy in the crew, most of the time, whether it's doctors or younger nurses, they look up to me because I'm the old guy with the experience. And Jose knows everything. Just ask Jose; he'll tell you more. That's what their words are. I'm not saying that, but again, I get a lot from the younger women, from the younger nurses also because they're newer, they're more savvy with the technology and certain things. And I get to see both sides of things. And I'm listening to everybody's opinion. And I could look at that girl and look for eye candy, as Christine said, but it's hard for me to listen to what she's saying because I'm not really listening to what her saying. And I'm sorry, and Shirley, I heard what you said, but again, that is I'm owning up to it.
That's exactly. But I shouldn't.
And I'm being honest.
A woman shouldn't have to worry about what I'm sorry, but a woman can walk out in her bra and underwear and she should not be looked at as eye candy. I mean, yes, you're going to, but that doesn't mean you don't pay attention to what she thinks. How you view her is on you, not her. I mean, if she's
I would agree.
I
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead. I was
just it's okay.
I agree, unless the camera is filming her ass for 12 minutes straight.
Well,
Then
what I was
I
about
think
to
it's
say,
on
unless
her.
Not though. It's not though.
That's
I
what I was-
interrupted you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say, is that unless they are purposely portraying a specific thing, then that is on you. Now, I mean, how you view somebody, that's completely on you and your perspective and how you're taught and how you think. That is what shapes how you view a person. It is not on me for me to say, oh, don't look at me like that, and I have to dress down because it distracts you. That's bullcrap. That's bullcrap, and I should be able to wear whatever I want to, dress however I want to, and still be taken seriously, because it's not about how we look. It's about the things we do and the knowledge we have. And if you can't see past, not you particular person, but you as in general, cannot see past how we look, then that's your shallow ideation. That is not my problem.
Yeah.
I think Ian, right? Is it Ian in my tank?
No, this is Nick.
Oh, Nick, I'm sorry. As he said before, a lot of the shots, I mean, I realize that it's her husband doing all the recording, but all of the angles are focused on her. If we're talking fish, let's look at the, listen, I know Funk, I see Funk, listen.
Go ahead, keep going.
You know, I could tell you something else, but it's very difficult when you're trying to look at the fish in the bigger angle. It's on her.
It's not though.
Listen, she's beautiful. I'm not saying anything. She's a beautiful woman, and if she has it, she can flaunt it. I'm sure, you know, it's fine.
Yeah, but she's using, like I said before, she's using what she's got. That doesn't mean she doesn't have valuable knowledge. If you can't look past that, then that's not on her. Her whole hook is trying to get people that do fish and who like her ass, you know? So, I mean, I don't see, if you don't want to watch it, not you in particular, like I said, but you in general, if people don't want to watch it, don't like what she's portraying, then don't go. There are people that like it. So,
Can I please, honestly, like, I keep hearing the same thing over and over again. Now, you keep saying that it's on her ass. It's on her ass. It's on her ass.
Yeah.
No, it's on her and the tank. All you're looking at is her ass. That's what I'm saying. It's on her and the tank. You're just looking at her ass.
My point proven.
Those, you know, I mean,
I'm sorry,
maybe
Shirley.
just a regular ass.
No, you're fine.
Be so in your face.
Well, she can't help but got a big ass unless she did it on purpose. But I mean, chances are she just got a big butt. Yeah, even if she did, who cares? Yeah. I mean, it's not her fault that the only thing you look at is her ass. You know,
it's a whole 125. The whole entire 125 is in the shot, but all anybody sees is her ass.
The lights off. The lights are off. I just counted in all of her videos. The lights are only on in 2 of them. Of the tank.
Okay.
You can't even see inside the tank. Like
I've got nearly 30 tanks, and
it's got white sand in it. How could you not see? I could see inside.
Yeah, I could see inside the tank, and I was on a little screen.
I could see inside the tank.
I think really that people that are saying, no offense, but people who think that way and say that are so distracted by her ass that they're the ones that can't see it past it. And again, not on her.
No,
I'm not distracted. I just recognize what the content is. That's all.
Exactly. I think some people are just so nose blind to it because they see it all the time, and they're used to people walking around showing their bodies that it's
that could be
for them.
That could be.
Yeah, but if people didn't sexualize it,
people who are living in an area where women actually do cover up.
That could be.
I'm not saying they like totally. I'm just saying you dress appropriately. That word is
but that's not appropriately is.
That's
Sorry.
what I'm saying. The word appropriately just like blows people's mind. Like,
yeah, but appropriately is a matter of opinion.
Appropriate. If she
I get what she's saying though.
Wear in a bra. If I have a problem with it, that's my problem.
Yeah, exactly.
I have a problem with her walking out in her. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Appropriately is dependent upon the person. And if people didn't sexualize the body so much and make everything about sex, everything about a person's body is about sex. No, it's not. A woman breastfeeding a baby
is she making it all about sex in the body?
Because that's what she's taught.
It's right back on you. Why is she having to do that?
Because that's what she's taught.
Us of looking at it and only seeing that, but you're not turning it back at her and saying, "Hey, why are you?"
I didn't see anything there that made it look like she was doing anything more than trying to feature her best assets. It did not look like she was sexualizing anything. It looked like she was trying to look good and get some attention. Yeah, but that doesn't. What's appropriate is different to each person.
I got the challenge. I challenge every man to get with their partner and watch the video and see
I did.
see what they think, or just
I
pull it up
did.
on the side. Because actually, I pulled this video up when my girlfriend was over, and she was just scrolling on her phone, and she was like, "What are you looking at that lady showing off her ass for?" I was like, "Oh, look, it's a fish video," and she gave me a look.
I'm not saying
I'm sorry.
I showed it
I'm
to
not
my
saying she's
husband.
not showing off her ass.
You know what my husband said?
Yeah.
I would never, ever videotape you that way. He said, that is a man who knows that he has eye candy and he's sharing it with the world. And he
Yeah,
said,
but
that is, well, okay, but here, I think what it honestly all boils down to is the fact that some of us are a lot less looser than other people. Some of us have better morals than others do.
oh,
I don't know
that's
about
not
that.
fair.
I
I'm
don't
sorry,
know about
but
that. Yeah, I don't know about that.
I mean,
just because your morals are different from somebody else doesn't mean you have more morals than somebody else, and that's not fair to say that.
What I'm saying is different. You said more. I said different. What my morals
That's
are.
not what I heard. Sorry, my apologies. Then I misheard you.
I apologize too because I heard something different. I apologize.
I did too.
No, I'm saying they're different.
Okay, you said what I thought you said was that they had more morals.
Appropriate is going to be different than what somebody else's idea.
Yeah. But again, if something, especially at that level, if something is like, sorry,
I have stronger morals. I was raised.
See, you said stronger. That means that's not cool.
What I'm saying is my
you have stronger conservative morals.
What I want to see. No, what I'm saying is my expectation of what I want to see
Janet.
is I want it to where it's not about the body. It's not about sex. And if you have to put your body out there and you have to dress a certain way in order for you to think that I want to hear you, you're done. Now, if you take that same person and you put that person neck up and you have her do like 10 videos on an obscure channel, you tell me she's going to get the views she's getting.
Then you hear, oh my God, she's so beautiful. Why doesn't she take better care of herself?
Can I say something? I first of all, I like what you said. I'm not gonna say no to it. But you said a couple of things that I agree with, but I want to add to. About both of y'all actually.
Yeah.
We're talking about dressing up. Now, in my opinion, and this is because the way Maida dresses and the way I see people dress around me growing up my whole life and whatever. And I don't think I grew up with terrible morals. I grew up with very, very good morals. But I actually think she dresses like she would on a Sunday. Like the women, it's just lazy day clothes. For some people, like you might think that it just fits her in a certain way that some people might see it differently. But her actual clothes to me is anything Maida would wear, like she's wearing now. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think that it's anything that she wouldn't wear out to dinner or out to go somewhere.
I don't think she's like went to the mall just to buy an outfit just for that thing. She just went in the closet, threw something on.
And she's not wearing lingerie, so I mean, she's not even sexualizing it that much. It's just like, hey, look at my ass, and that's just like, come on. She could walk down the street, look at her ass. She could walk down the street, and you wouldn't be able to take your eyes off it. She could wear sackcloth, and people would be undressing her. It's just, it doesn't matter either way. We get criticism for how we look, and it's our worth is contingent on how we look and the intention we can give. I've said that over and over. And crap, I had another idea, and it just went right out of my head.
Yeah, but here's the point, Shirley. My point is, if you live your life not seeking attention and literally just going by the knowledge you have in your brain, you don't need to do that to get attention.
I agree.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no. My point, though, is that we're taught from
in my life, they have always been professional, always been career-based. I've never had to dress like that ever.
Yeah. Well, a lot of
people come and look at me and say, "Hey, LT, I got a question for you. I need to know this or I need to know that." Never once did they have to come to me and go, "Wow, look at the way she's dressed." It's an embarrassment. There's no way.
Yeah, that's the way it should be. That's the way completely it should be.
That's what I'm saying.
And I agree with that. My problem.
The way I look at it. You want to do that? That's fine. Do that.
But you shouldn't have to.
You shouldn't have to. That's
yes,
that's what I'm trying to say.
my not counterpoint so much as an additional point is that that's how we're taught that our worth is part of that, though. That's what I'm saying. And a lot of people
I wasn't
get
taught
past
that.
it. Yeah, you're one of the lucky ones.
Yeah, no, I was not taught that. And I guarantee you, if I would have went to school with a mini skirt and a tube top, my dad would have literally beat my ass.
Yeah, but part of that's generational
no
too.
Way that would have flew in my house.
Part of that is
not show your body.
Part of that's beliefs and part of it's generational, because like even in the fashion world, things are, people are showing more skin. It's not as taboo to be showing things. But again, it goes back to yes, you were one of the few lucky ones, but I will emphasize few lucky ones that either weren't taught that or that was able to get past their teaching. But even society as a whole teaches a woman that her worth depends on how a man looks at her. I mean, it's just ingrained in our society. And although
it's not fair, but it is reality. It's not fair, but it is reality.
And it needs to change. And the thing is, I feel like seeing these women who are dressing up and showing more and stuff like that, they're not all trying to get that attention so much as they're saying, hey, if you have a problem looking at me, that's your problem. I want to dress how I like and what's comfortable for me. And if you can't look past that, that's on you. And if you can't look past somebody dressing a little nicer or a little showier, and you can't get the content because of that, you're distracted by that, especially as she was dressed in that video. I will confess, I haven't watched all her videos, but according to that video, that was nowhere near sexualized. That was, to me, something she would go, dress up nice and go do something. You know what I mean? It was not, he showed her butt, but come on, you'd be looking at her butt no matter what she was doing. Not you, Chris, but in general, people would be seeing it because it's out there. But it's, again, if I can't look past somebody's butt to hear the content or the value in their knowledge, that is, again, on me and my issues. And that doesn't mean that she has less morals or whatever than weaker morals. You said stronger morals. You said you had stronger morals. You did.
All I'm saying is,
stronger is the same thing. You're saying that
out there to watch that I don't need to gravitate to that. Thank God.
Right. But when you say you had stronger morals, that insinuates that people who don't have the same morals as you have weaker morals. And I don't think that's fair. Because I was raised in a cult, literally. You can ask anybody that knows me. I was raised in a cult. So my morals are very strong according to that. So, but I was taught that I had to wear skirts to my ankles, long sleeves. I couldn't cut my hair, couldn't wear makeup, all this stuff. Now, thankfully, I'm out of that and have been since I was young. But that's how I was taught. And I was lucky enough to get past that. I'm of the viewpoint that if I stand in front of a podium and I have something to say and my knowledge and experience can contribute something, then it doesn't matter if I'm wearing a sackcloth or a bikini. You need to get past whatever you think you're seeing and listen to what I have to say, because that's the purpose.
No.
That's all I'm saying.
No. I'd get up and leave. I wouldn't listen to what you had to say.
I don't think this has
because I don't have to see that in order to hear a message. Whatever you got to say is not that important, where I have to subject my eyes to see you in a bikini. Sorry.
You don't have to, though. You don't have to watch her channel. That's what I'm saying.
That's why I said I won't watch it, because there's way too much out there that I could watch and get better content.
Right, exactly.
Not the same, and not have to subject myself to that.
Okay, and I'm not talking about people like you who just don't watch it anyway. I'm talking about the people who watch it and refuse to get past that to hear what she's saying. Yeah. So, I mean, you personally, that doesn't apply to you because you just decide not to watch it. You're like, it's not worth it, which I kind of disagree with. Just because somebody dresses a certain way doesn't mean their knowledge isn't valuable. But if you can't get past it, then you don't want to watch it, then that's fine. Just don't watch it.
Here you go. Like a mutual friend of ours, and none of these guys know who we're talking about. None of them. Okay. So a mutual friend of ours wanted to do nude videos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Myself, hell no. Why in the world would you think I would want to watch that?
Yeah, but you just still watch his other content. You get past the fact that he does nude videos.
But now, if that same person decided he wanted to talk about fish on that nude channel,
then you wouldn't watch it. I wouldn't watch it.
He can say to me that would make me want to watch that.
No, but you would still go watch his other videos. You know what I'm saying? My point is, you get past the fact that he's doing
enough out there that I don't need to watch that.
Yeah, I'm not
I'm not gonna
disagreeing
do
with that.
some dude up there with big old muscles, constantly flexing, talking about
Mm,
fish, but his big old muscles are in front of the tank all the time. I'm not gonna
yeah,
watch it. I'm not coming
yeah.
here to see your damn muscles. I want to see the fish.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I'm just adding to your point that it's not that while you can get past it to look at his other content and to see his other his knowledge and stuff like that. Whereas most people, what I'm saying is if you cannot get past that to listen to what they have to say, whether it's watching those sexy videos or not watching the sexy videos, that is not on that person. That person can choose to show their body how they want to. And if you can't get past that to hear what they have to say, it's not on them.
It's not that I can't get past it.
Not you,
It's
not
that
you,
I
Chris.
choose
I was
not.
adding to it. Yeah, you decide you don't want to see it, so you don't watch it, but you still watch the content that doesn't apply to. So
Yeah.
I'm agreeing with you. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm agreeing with you. I'm just adding on that if you can't get past it to watch that other stuff, that's a problem that's not theirs. That's all.
Jose, did I see you
Right.
raise your hand
Yeah.
again?
I mean,
Hello?
yeah, you do too.
My screen's little. I can't see Jack.
No, I mean,
Oh.
I like to listen. One of Linda Word says that a lot of women are more critical of other women. You know, I'm 63.
Yes.
My wife happens to be 46. You know, again, it happened that way.
You
Now, she
dirty,
Huh?
you dirty dog.
Cradle robber.
She wears clothes.
Hey, Jose, I'm right with you because you know what? My husband's 10 years younger than me.
Oh, you guys.
Oh,
Shame. No.
you see where the double standard is, right? Automatically, right? It's okay for no dude to have a younger woman.
Hey! Yes,
Wow.
what are you doing with you, Jose?
My life. But
How'd you snag that, Jose?
Yeah.
see, and
Oh, Jose got money.
yeah,
Oh, that's what it is.
that I owe big time. But you know, the interesting thing is that I show her this particular video. I say, "What do you think?" And you know, it's my wife is not a prude. You know, she wears this kind of clothing, which is normal clothing, like you said, Funk.
Yeah.
You know, but the thing is, like, if somebody comes up to the hospital with certain clothing, you know, you hear, you know, that's not appropriate for the moment. You know, and sometimes, like you said, if I agree with Nick again. You know, it's like some of the things. Yes, I understand it's a fish channel, and we're talking about fish and something else. But I can get past that and listen to what she's saying. But I looked at it really for curiosity, but I couldn't go back because you know she is a beautiful woman. We can't take that away from her.
What?
What? I asked for her opinion, and the first thing that Mayra, what does Mayra says is the ass girl. That's what she calls her.
I have a bit.
Right?
Sorry, go ahead. I thought you were
think,
done.
here's what happened.
Funk's
I
wife
think
calls her the ass girl, right?
Mhm.
Because and my wife had a similar comment. You know, it's okay. We're talking about fish, but there was a lot of focus on her body a lot. And again, I'm not taking anything away from her. You know, it's we all have a point on everything. You know, and there is I think there's a place for everything.
I
Yeah, I
have a
think what's-
problem with people. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no. What I was going to get at is I think that's what originally we had started talking about is the fact that I was coming in from the point of view, kind of like where Christine's at, that I didn't want to give her an opportunity because I made an assumption immediately just based on what I was seeing, without even opening the video, without even listening to a single thing she did. I came to a personal conclusion and thought, okay, this is somebody, you know, that is just whether you want to call it thirst trapping or catfishing or whatever. That was my original response to it, and I never watched the video. And it wasn't until Jason had seen it and he told me, do you know about this channel? I was like, yeah, I know about that channel. And I said, have you watched it? I said, no, I haven't watched it because I think it's just going to be another one of those channels where it's all about the person and not what they're doing. And he goes, no, you need to watch it. And I think that's where this all started, is because I was coming in from that point of view where it's like, yeah, no, I'm not going to give this person an opportunity because I am seeing what I recognize as being a thirst trap or just something that I didn't think. Yeah, I had to get past it, but if it wasn't for Funk actually telling me, look at it, and I kind of value his opinion when he tells me stuff, and he was very insistent. I said, okay, I'm gonna break down my assumptions, my prejudice, and I'm gonna look at it from a point of view trying to be as unbiased as possible. And once I did that, I kind of understood the point that that Funk was saying. But it is, that's why we said, are there double standards? Is it
There
a
is.
disadvantage or a pro to be very attractive? Because then you unconsciously, and this is only coming from my perspective, I realized that there is some biases that I do walk around with. And my bias was assuming that because a person seemed to look a certain way, that they might not be knowing what the hell they were talking about. It wasn't until somebody helped me get past that and look at it, I said, okay, I can kind of understand what Funk is saying, but I can also kind of trust what Nick's saying because I know how deep he digs into channels. And so it makes me feel bad because it goes back to my first assumption being correct. So, it's kind of one of those things. Well, what do you do? How do you get past that? How do you grow and try not to be as presumptuous as I was being?
Well, I
Well,
think
how do you go to the beach and not look at a woman and say, "Oh, I'm going to throw her down"?
That's a whole different
No.
thing, because at the
Well,
beach you're
'cause wait, 'cause
expected
I think-
Yeah, you're
to wear.
expected to, but my point is, if it's hot out, if I want to wear a pair of tight shorts and short shorts, that
no,
it's
no,
not my fault if a guy
Yeah,
can't
but
look
I
past
think
it.
something important that Jorge's saying though is like it's also not just like attractiveness. He's saying like age is something.
Oh
and,
yeah.
like, so I think if we really want to attack biases, like 14% of the male population is over 6 foot tall, but 58% of CEOs are over 6 foot tall. So there's a lot of ways that appearances, even just like height and things, maybe you don't like. Bro, I have friends who get a lot more attention from women than me, and trust me, pretty privilege for men exists. They get away with all sorts of things. They're just crazy.
I agree.
So it presents in different ways, but but it definitely, it's not always about attractiveness or looks. Just looking nice also can make people trust you more or think you're more responsible.
Right. Well, like you were saying with the age, with the age thing, people assume that just because you're older, you're wiser, and just because you're younger, you don't know anything. Whereas I know 2 specific instances where that's just the opposite. I won't name names, but there's a certain older / wiser person that's peddling a lot of misinformation on YouTube, and then there's my daughter, who everybody looks at and thinks she doesn't have any information. But my daughter is, she's 15 now, but ever since she was old enough to read, she's been a very big researcher. And if she tells you a fact, it's pretty much she knows what she's talking about.
Yeah, she does.
Well,
she is
let me ask you something, since we have actually now females on the panel. One of the other things that we were talking about is there a disadvantage as being a female in this genre? Do you guys feel like you guys don't listen to as much? Do you guys feel, and this is all going back to the video that Rebecca did for freshwater ichthyology. I'd like to hear your guys' take on that.
I didn't hear I didn't see that video. I do think that women in general are at a disadvantage because, like I said, your worth is put on you about your looks and all that jazz. And if you're appropriate, if you do the right things, even men, yes, everybody has their little box that we're supposed to fit into. And if we go outside of that, then our worth diminishes. And society creates this box that we all have to be in, especially women, and our worth is determined by that. And if we dare go out it, then we're inappropriate, or whatever the case may be. And the thing is that this world is dominated by men. It just is. It's not in any way favorable to women. And we fight a lot harder than men do to get the same exact treatment and the same exact jobs and experiences. We have to fight a lot harder to get past because women are the weaker sex, right? We are weaker, apparently, according to society. And because of that, we have to work harder to show that we're strong.
That's not been my experience.
No, you're lucky then.
I've been able to get every job I've ever applied for. I put in hard work. I put in
I have too.
I put in a lot of education, and I was able to climb up to lieutenant at our local sheriff's department and got an
that doesn't mean it's everywhere. I'm just saying in general. In general, the society has.
I have literally done so many things. I have waitressed at little corporate restaurant in Kankakee, back where Barry Manilow used to play his piano. I have done jobs at the local fish stop. I have done Illinois Fire and Police Equipment. I've worked there. I've worked at Sears Security. I've worked at Walmart Security. I've worked at, I mean, you name it. Just about every. I've worked at Menards. I've worked at Lowe's. I was a manager at both. I mean,
that doesn't mean that
achieved every single goal in every single job, and I've never applied for a job I never got.
That doesn't mean that your first of all, that your experience is typical, and second of all, that if you hadn't been a man, that it wouldn't have been easier.
How
That's
much
all I'm
easier
saying.
can you get to literally apply for a job and get it?
I've experienced women.
Again,
I've
it's
experienced
not
women
typical.
get passed over.
Yeah. I have too. I have been passed over.
I've seen it. I've seen it.
Knock on wood. But then
I've
again,
seen it.
I present myself in a different way than a lot of women.
Well, I don't think it's stress though. I think it's how that you put your foot down and you push forward and you're assertive. And which is one of the characters.
Apply for a job that I don't know nothing about. I don't.
Yeah, exactly.
I want this job. Do you have job? No, I walk in there and I state facts and I tell them exactly what I can do for them. I have landed every job I have ever. It's.
Yes, but you're assuming your experience is typical, and that's not though. Typically, it is the way that there is a double standard. Typically,
I'm glad that I listened to my parents and got the knowledge before I entered into a job. I'm glad I didn't go boy chasing and wound up just literally focusing in on my education and learning about the jobs that I wanted. I mean, I wasn't this kid that dated boys at 15 and 16 and wound up pregnant. I'm sorry. I stuck to my guns. I did my education, and I decided to have my kids after I was 20.
But what I'm saying is that a woman can do those same things, and typically, in most situations, they can work. I can work my ass off. I have worked my ass off to the point where I knew twice as much as any of the males that were in the field that were trying for the same position as me. And I've gotten passed over every damn time. Well, not every time, but a lot of those times I've gotten passed over because I was a female. Now, they don't say that. That's not what they say. But when you put me head to head with some of those other people that were male, I could outshine them every time, but I still did not get it.
Okay,
and if I did get it, I got paid less.
I understand what you're saying, but I'm just going to give you an example because this falls right into what you're talking about. When I worked at the Suncoast, I literally got hired on inside. Now, the standard is you actually work inside for 3 months. And then if you're qualified, you can go outside to armed security. When I went there and I applied, I got the job right away. My husband applied right before that just to do like part-time. They didn't hire him. I got hired right away because guess what? I had a background. I had knowledge of security. Then what did they say? Instead of holding me inside for 3 months like I was supposed to, my chief said, Tommaso, he's like, hey, you got experience. I'm going to put you outside now. 2 months after I worked there. 2 months. And he said, I'm going to tell you something also. You're going to be the first female security officer we've ever had outside.
Yes, me first.
The guys outside all did not want me to go out there.
Yeah.
Every single one of them. Okay. And to this day, I talk to every single one of them because you know what? After a week of me being out there and not being a typical girly girl and just doing my job, that's what I'm saying. You don't have to be that stupid giddy girly.
Yeah, but I'm saying that not everybody is that way. A lot of women aren't that way, and they still get passed over, and they still get like you were saying, they didn't want you out there. They didn't want you to have that job. A lot of women get that, and they don't get the job. Is what I'm trying to say.
You want to know why they treated me like that, though? Because too many women get that job based on, oh, okay, I have to have so many women, and then they hire women that don't know crap. Yeah,
that's not what that. No, that's not what that is.
I'm just.
That's not what I'm saying.
I got out there. I got the respect that I so deserved because
you are not typical.
But I knew more than every one of them guys out there. Not one of those guys were a police officer in the past. They didn't have that experience. They were freaking glorified bouncers.
So are you saying that because I was passed over, that it was because I was a girly girl and showing things I shouldn't be showing, and so they underestimated me? Okay, see, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but
you're not typical.
No.
I worked hard and I still got passed over because that's what's typical.
No, because when I went to go waitress at the little corporal, I went in there. I just want a waitress. I had to act stupid to get the job.
That's a waitressing job. Waitresses are typically mostly female. I mean, that's just when nurses even are typically female. I bet a woman could go in there and act all stupid, and a male doctor would be like, "Oh, she's not a threat to me, so let's hire her." It's a female job, just like going in the kitchen and cooking dinner barefoot, making a sandwich is a woman's job.
I'm just saying, I've never had that experience, and I found
You're lucky.
I get paid just as much as the men, and as a matter of fact, when I left, I got paid more than any of the men outside.
But you are very lucky. I'm not kidding you. I don't know how you don't know that that's not typical, but it's typical for the situations like stories like mine.
It was very typical for you to get paid what you were worth, and that's just what it is.
Where you are at in your experience,
I can
what you're worth.
I can tell you that in a woman-dominated field such as mine, when I started nursing originally, the salaries for nurses was very low compared to what it is today starting. And that's the fact that mostly has been a woman profession. I mean, we cannot deny that there is a certain disadvantage in a men's world, to put it that way. And, it's an unfortunate thing, but, that this is where we are. And is it going to change anything?
But Jose, you work at a hospital. You can't tell me that the women are getting hired on in like a nursing with less pay than a male nurse. When I worked at St. Mary's Hospital, I got hired on security. They only hired police officers. Every single one of us started out at exactly the same pay. Every single one of us. Nobody got paid less.
We all get the same pay, male or female now, but I'm talking about where salaries were earlier on.
Well, actually, they don't all pay everybody the same, because that's why companies have the don't talk about your salary policy. It's not because we don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. No, it's because they don't want to get sued because they're not paying some people what they're worth because of this or that.
No, we didn't have.
I also just want to, just remind people, like, everyone has different experiences. So, like, you could legitimately not have experienced that, and many people do. So, in the spirit of not generalizing, you just have to remember, like, it could vary, but especially if you live in a country like America, where it's so different state by state, even just laws and employment and stuff.
It's all where you live. It's all the state you live in. I live in a very blue state, and everything's exposed. I mean, you want to talk about your check, you talk about your check. You want to, it's all equal hire. It's all, I don't know if it's a political thing about stuff like that, but I've never had that problem. If I go to apply, I got it.
If you were to add everybody up that had a story about jobs or being treated equal or not being treated equal, the percentage of people that are women that are not treated the way they should be due to merits of their knowledge or skills or experience, those people that were not treated accordingly because they're women is more than the people who are treated accordingly because of their knowledge / experience. You are not typical. The majority of the people in the world, especially in the I don't know about especially in the United States, but statistically, you are not typical. People who have had the story where they weren't treated right are more typical. That's all I'm trying to say. That it's majority.
States in this beautiful country we have, Nevada and Illinois, and I've been treated totally equal. I wish I had an example where I can say, oh yeah, he made more money than me. I wish
you had an example of one other woman that was treated typically like they're supposed to be treated, because I'd love to know those women and how they did it, because in my experience and in experience of pretty much every woman that I know, that is not the case.
Well, I know of a lot of people that were women that I worked with, Tracy Wanties, all of them. We all got paid the same. Everybody, all the men, all the women. We didn't have a problem. There was never a paycheck issue. We were all equal.
Yeah, look, maybe I can share a little bit to kind of understand both of the points of the views that are being argued. And I can deal with stats just because it usually works out a little bit better. And it's not about employment or anything like that, but it's about experiences, I think, more than anything else. And for me to try to say that based on my experience, based on these issues, I would make the assumption that everybody else should be experiencing the same thing I am. And we're going to talk a little bit about race. And the
You're
reason I'm
looking
going to say
fun.
that is no, here's why. Because I happened to have been raised in the Imperial County. If we're looking at the information here, Hispanics make up 86% of the community in the Imperial Valley. Now, if by looking at this information, I can tell you honestly that I never experienced the discrimination that I hear other people of my community, other Hispanics, that they seem to encounter outside of the Imperial County. For so many years that I was born and raised there, I never knew it. I didn't know what it was. I didn't even know it existed. Now, for me to take that information and assume that the rest of the country is similar to that would be erroneous, because we all know that's not the case.
Did he
So-
just say
Then
erroneous?
what is it based
Yes,
on?
Did he
you
say
said
erroneous?
erroneous.
It's
Do you need to
based
look
on
it up?
personal life experience.
And he said the old people didn't know everything. Look at these words.
You know, it's all, we are only subject to our own personal experiences. But
Exactly.
we can't
And
assume
Right.
those
if you're more
experiences
knowledgeable
translate
than the other
universally
person, you're probably
to everybody
gonna
else.
fare better.
Not that's what I'm saying. It's not true that you're probably going to fare better because you're knowledgeable. Two people of the same experience, the same knowledge in most situations, because statistically, if one's a woman and another's a man, the man's going to get it. Or if they both get it, the man's going to get paid more than the woman in the job situation. Now, unless it's a female dominated industry, which are not very many, like waitressing or nursing, like we were talking about earlier. So, I mean, that's all I'm saying, is that it's not, if you go statistically, that's the case.
Can I say something real fast? Because
No.
I gotta bounce. What? Oh man, I thought we was connecting and everything, man. So listen, I can't stay. I gotta go, but I wanna say one thing before I leave. I actually love this panel because I always say YouTube is about perspective, and you have 6 different perspectives. We got Nick down here, who's the young buck, and as soon as he gets a hold of some issue, he starts researching stuff on the googly, right? Me and Mexicali, we kind of go at it more of an X-gen type of thing. We got 2 women from 2 different parts, obviously grew up differently, and we have dirty dog right over here. So I all these things, not necessarily wrong. I don't think anybody's wrong. But we all see things differently. You know what I mean? And I think that's actually a beautiful thing. I actually think it's a great thing.
I agree.
I really do. So I appreciate all y'all. I appreciate being on this chat. Mexicali, I appreciate you. I'm glad to see a couple of y'all faces, to be honest with you, because the only faces I've ever seen are Nick, Mexicali, unfortunately, Mexicali. And I've never heard anybody say erroneous in a real sentence, to be honest with you.
That's those dollar words. That's what my mom used to call me. I'd say big words. Instead of giving my 2 cents, I gave you a whole dollar.
And Jose, so I appreciate y'all, but I gotta roll.
Peace out.
Deuces.
Bye, Pop.
Later.
Nice.
Later.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll out with
Nick, how young are you?
I got stuff I gotta be doing too, but
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go
Christine,
soon.
thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming up here. I really do appreciate it. I don't know who else is bouncing off, but I know we've been going at it for 2.5 hours. Whoa, wow.
Oh, geez, yeah.
yeah.
But I guess we could call it a wrap if you guys want. And I just wanted to say thank you so much for coming up here. I know for most of the part it was just me and Funk just kind of talking out of our butts, but I'm glad that we got some perspectives with you guys coming up here. But I do agree that everybody's experience is a little bit different, so we're all going to contribute from that point of view.
Yeah.
So with that being said, thank you guys. Thank you everybody that hung out with us in the chat, especially for 2.5 hours. And I just want to say thank you for. I just can't say thank you enough for all the support that all of you guys. I mean, I've been very fortunate that I've gotten to interact with all of you guys, and you guys have always been very supportive of me, and I can't say thank you enough. So with that being said, you guys have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll see each other somewhere along in another chat or somewhere.
It was
Have a
really
good
nice
night,
meeting
guys.
everyone. And
Yeah, it was nice meeting you too.
Christine.
I love the conversation. It was fun.